Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. School beauty break the engagement. Awaken chaos rootless water unknown level at start. Chapter 41. Who are you, kid? Senior Shangguan, the evil fire in his body has obviously been extinguished. Don't even think about talking nonsense here. All the doctors and ice warriors shouted in anger. It's that big pervert and gangster. Why is he here? Is he following me again? Yu Yao was stunned for a moment. Then her chest heaved, and an inexplicable anger arose in her heart. President Wan, please take your friend away. He is not welcome in my Shangguan family. Shangguan Wuji's face was gloomy. You must know that the evil fire was extinguished and the old man was saved. This is what I witnessed with my own eyes. I said it. The evil fire in the body of old Shangguan has not been completely driven out. If you let it go, you will definitely die. Lin Shu said without changing his expression when everyone questioned him with his hands in his pockets. HMPH. You are deceiving the public with your evil words. Ha ha, he's just a young man, why should you care about his words? Hey, young people nowadays just like to pretend to be 13 and have a sense of presence. Everyone sneered at his words and didn't take them to heart at all. This master is so scheming and utters wild words. He must be a spy sent by some force. Please allow me to take him down. Aunt Lan smiled ferociously. Phew, phew. As she waved, a group of Shangguan family bodyguards immediately surrounded Lin Shu. Who dares to hurt my friend while I am here? Wan Miaoyan stepped forward and said with a domineering side. Boom, a powerful spiritual power surged in. Bang bang, bang bang. Everyone led by Aunt Lan was defeated and scattered like a mountain. Some of the weaker ones coughed up blood. In the void, a black chain circled like a dragon, and an old man wearing a Taoist robe stood in the air, looking down at the people below. He stood up through the void. He is a strong martial artist. Someone exclaimed, almost scared out of his wits. Wu Zun is a 6th level powerhouse with a spiritual power value exceeding 10,000. With a wave of his hand, it is enough to kill hundreds of 3rd and 4th level warriors. It's Elder Lu from Wanbao Tower. Dean Lu looked fearful. I want to see today who dares to be an enemy of our Wanbao Chamber of Commerce. Wan Miao's cigarette opened her fan and sat directly on the chair prepared by her subordinates, revealing her appearance as a queen. Aunt Lan was angry but didn't dare to do it again. Why is this guy with her, and what is their relationship? Yu Yao frowned, feeling confused. The woman in front of him is one of the 2 beauties in Zhongling who is as famous as himself, and has a noble status. Now she actually doesn't hesitate to offend the Shangguan family for such a pervert and gangster. President Wan is so majestic. Are you really going to break up with my Shangguan family because of such a low-class junior? Shangguan Wuji felt angry in his heart after being shouted at in his own territory. If he gives in today, he may become a joke to the entire Zhongling city. He is the boyfriend of this president. Wan Miaoyan raised her legs and smiled, looking at Yu Yao with a provocative look. It's like saying, the man you despise is a treasure in my eyes. It also seems to be saying, if you want to compete with me for a man, you are still a little immature. Boom. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone in the audience was dumbfounded, and a thunderbolt struck their minds. What? This guy is Chairman Wan's boyfriend. Oh my god, is he just lucky? He can win the favor of this great beauty. Shangguan Wuji's expression suddenly changed. If it were an ordinary friendship, he believed that the woman in front of him would never become an enemy of the Shangguan family. But if it's a boyfriend, it's different. Sir, when did I get a girlfriend? Lin Shu was speechless about Wan Miaoyan's saucy operation. But when he saw Yu Yao's deflated expression, he got angry. A shameless couple. Yu Yao was so angry that she gritted her teeth, her eyes looking like she wanted to eat Lin Shu alive. Ahem. There was a weak cough, and Mr. Shangguan slowly stood up. I'm here, thank you all for saving my life. He first bowed sincerely to Yu Yao, Dean Lu and others. Then, he dragged his heavy steps and walked to Lin Shu. May I ask what you call me, little brother? My surname is Lin and my name is Shu. Lin Shu said calmly. Lin Shu, why does it sound familiar? Ah, he is Lin Shu who awakened the SSS level natural water talent. It's him. No wonder he would let go of his bold words and say that he doesn't like Miss Yu Yao. It turns out that he already has a stunning beauty like President Wan by his side. The whole place was in an uproar. After all, SSS level talent is 1 in a million. As long as he doesn't die young, he can at least become a martial king in the future. It was obvious that she broke off the marriage first, and it was obvious that she despised the good-for-nothing man in front of her. How come everything changes when someone says it? Hearing everyone's heated discussions and those strange looks, Yu Yao felt very unhappy and felt very uncomfortable. What is this little fool that Lin Shu? If anyone was to be the most shocked, it was Aunt Lan. She never dreamed of it. The person she tried so hard to find and win over turned out to be a brat that she despised and despised. It turns out to be Mr. Lin. You just said that the evil fire in my body has not been completely driven out. What do you mean by that? Mr. Shangguan asked. When he learned that Lin Shu had awakened his 3S talent, a ray of light flashed through his cloudy pupils. That's the literal meaning. If you believe it, believe it. If you don't believe it, you will be thrown away. Lin Shu smiled contemptuously, turned around and left. Toru, isn't it because awakening is known as the most useless water talent in the natural system? Why are you pretending? For those who don't know, you might think that you were accepted as a direct disciple of the Ice and Snow Sage just like my cousin. At this moment, Zhou Hong started taunting in a strange way. Ah, Miss Yu Yao was accepted as a direct disciple by the Ice and Snow Saint. This is definitely big news. Ice and Snow Saint is not only one of the top 10 saints, but also the old dean of the Tianwang Martial Arts School. Miss Yu Yao will have a bright future. The whole place was like an exploding ant nest, completely boiling. This woman, Wan Miaoyan bit her red lips, feeling envious in her heart. A direct disciple of the 10 great saints. With this level of status, even the city lord would have to respect her. The crowd's exclamations made Yu Yao regain her previous confidence, and she once again raised her proud head and looked down at Wan Miaoyan. It's like saying, your man is just a piece of trash that I despised and dumped, but you actually treat him as a treasure. Although the two women were speechless, their eyes were locked in battle hundreds of times in the dark. In response to Zhou Hong's provocation, Lin Shu just smiled contemptuously without turning his head. Sir, although this Lin Shu has awakened the 3S talent, she can't compete with the one from the Yu family. Moreover, she is a disciple of the top 10 saints. The news about this guy's insult to Miss Yu Yao has already spread a lot. Sooner or later, he will become a public enemy of the entire Zhongling. Why don't we take this opportunity to vent her anger? Maybe we can take the opportunity to form an alliance with the Yu family. Aunt Lan said to Shangguan Wuji secretly with a wicked smile on her face. The latter's eyes flashed when he heard this, as if he was thinking about who was less important and who was more important. Soon, he had an idea. Humph, this is Shangguan Mansion. Do you mean you can come and leave whenever you want? You talked nonsense about my father's condition before and insulted Miss Yu Yao, Dean Lu and everyone's hard treatment. You must apologize, Shangguan Wuji shouted sharply. Are you deaf, Lin? Why don't you kneel down and apologize? When the opportunity came, Zhou Hong immediately screamed. He's just a pretty boy who's just eating soft food. Do you really think that with a rich man like Wan Miaoyan, you can pretend to be 13 in front of this lady? The head of the Shangguan family makes sense. Even if you have a close relationship with President Wan, you can't speak out like this. That's right, you have to apologize. The crowd booed and looked at him with evil eyes. President Wan, there are some young people who like to deceive and trick people the most. You must not be deceived by those sweet words, Yu Yao said with a slight smile at the corner of her mouth. Cousin, what you said is wrong. Maybe they are willing to be deceived. It's just a pity for the reputation of Wanbao Chamber of Commerce for hundreds of years. Zhou Hong sarcastically said. Who is Lin Shu? Growing up at the bottom of society, with a thick skin, how could he care about other people's sarcastic comments? But when he heard Wan Miaoyan being laughed at, his face darkened and he stopped. She didn't hesitate to offend the Shangguan family just now to protect herself. How could he sit idly by with his character of avenging hatred and repaying kindness? Senior Shangguan, do you really think that the evil fire in your body has been completely driven out? That's true, I can no longer feel any breath from it. Really, Lin Shu sneered. Yan Yan can lend it to the flame elf. He looked at Wan Miaoyan. Wan Miaoyan was stunned, wondering what he wanted to do. Seeing Lin Shu's serious expression, she nodded slightly. Bang! As she formed a seal with her delicate hands, the aura gathered and a summoning array appeared out of thin air. That's a fire elf. No, this is a royal flame elf. Everyone exclaimed. Even Yu Yao couldn't help but shrink her pupils. Ordinary elves generally have a strength between level 3 and level 5 when they reach adulthood. But having royal blood is different. That is an existence that can evolve to the 7th level or even the 8th level. Woman, although I have signed a contract with you, it does not mean that you can do whatever you want. As soon as the flame elf appeared, he sat cross-legged in the air with his arms folded, shouting to Wan Miaoyan as if he was an uncle. But before it could finish speaking, a steel-like hand pinched it. Bold, who dares to disrespect me? Ah, it's you, boss. Boss, please spare your life. A second ago, the flame elf was arrogant and arrogant. But when he saw Lin Shu's familiar face the next second, he immediately screamed and begged for mercy. What's going on? Why is a 5th-level royal flame elf so afraid of this Lin? Shangguan Wuji thought to himself. Toru, isn't it just an elf? What's the big deal? When my cousin completes her magic and summons the true form of the ice prison immortal phoenix, even if the fire elf emperor comes in person, it will be difficult to compete with her. Zhou Hong said with disdain at the corner of her mouth. Mr. Lin, what do you mean? Mr. Shangguan frowned. Lin Shu ignored him and threatened the flame elf with a wicked smile. Do you want to live? Hiss. His evil smile made the flame elf's hair stand on end, making him nod like a well-behaved cat. Then burn this old man to death for me. Lin Shu shouted violently and threw the flame elf in his hand wildly at Mr. Shangguan. Die, old guy. Who told you not to have the eyes to offend this human demon named Lin? Bake, bake. The fire elf's power exploded, setting off a terrifying wave of fire that engulfed Mr. Shangguan. No, Lin, are you crazy? Bold Lin Shu, you dare to attack and kill the old Shangguan, it is a heinous crime. Things happened too fast, and by the time everyone came to their senses, it was too late. This guy has caused a big disaster. The Shangguan family will never let him go. Yu Yao's eyes showed worry. HMPH. If he insists on seeking death, what does it have to do with this lady? He deserves it. But when she thought of Lin Shu's shameless behavior before, her face suddenly changed. Even someone named Wan can't protect you this time. Zhou Hong was overjoyed. I'm going to kill you. Shangguan Wuji roared, murderous intent rising like a wave. Few, dozens or hundreds of people used their weapons against Lin Shu. Elder Lu, miss, don't forget that you are a businessman and your interests should come first. Hearing this, Wan Miaoyan looked complicated. Kill, Shangguan Wuji shouted loudly and walked straight towards Lin Shu. He swore in his heart that he would take this son's head with his own hands today. The strange thing is that Lin Shu was not afraid, but instead smiled jokingly, it's coming. Boom. As soon as he finished speaking, a terrifying and fiery aura erupted from the sea of flames. The black evil fire reappeared, intertwined with the flames of the fire elves, and the two tried to devour each other. Bang! A sudden burst of flames blew Shangguan Wuji away, and his robes were burned. Lin, what did you do to my father? Shangguan Wuji yelled. The facts are before our eyes. Master of the Shangguan family, are you blind? Lin Shu gave him a look of deep contempt. He had noticed through the Sharingan before that the evil fire in Mr. Shangguan's body had not been completely dispelled, but was hidden. You, Shangguan Wuji's face turned livid with anger. This master must have used some conspiracy to reignite the evil fire in the old master's body. He must be killed immediately. Aunt Lan said with a vicious look on her face. Wuji, don't be impulsive. This matter has nothing to do with Mr. Lin. He is right. The evil fire is still in my body, but it is just hidden cunningly. The power of the flame elf's flame just now was just to force it to appear. Ah, ah. In the center of the flames of the two fighting, old man Shangguan screamed. Oh my god, this guy surnamed Lin is indeed right, the evil fire is still there. What a Lin Shu. Isn't his awakening talent the natural type of water? Why do you know that? It seems that the rumors are false. This boy is by no means simple. The way everyone looked at Lin Shu was completely different. Che, it's just a blind cat bumping into a dead mouse. What's the big deal? Zhou Hong's eyes were cold. Could it be that in addition to breaking the charm technique, his pupil technique can also detect everything in the warrior's body? Wan Miaoyan was shocked. Quickly, everyone joins forces to suppress this evil fire again. Dean Lu shouted urgently. Yu Yao took the lead and once again used the power of the ice prison Immortal Phoenix Purple Ice. Seeing this, the others did not dare to hesitate any longer, and their spiritual power rose one after another. Suddenly, the cold air and hot breath mix, making people feel like they have fallen into the realm of ice and fire. I am just a child, I can't stand it. With a scream, the flame elf was blown away, with traces of burnt wings on its back. With a plop, it disappeared into thin air. No, the power of the evil fire seems to be more powerful than before. We have consumed too much spiritual energy. If this continues, I'm afraid the whole army will be annihilated. Dean Lu and others looked fearful. Is there really nothing we can do? Shangguan Wuji roared, his eyes bloodshot. Ha ha, it seems that I am not too late. Master Shangguan, don't panic. As long as I am here, a small evil flame cannot cause much trouble. At this moment, two arrogant voices suddenly sounded. The light flashed, and there were two more people in the field. One person is wearing diamond earrings and is dressed like a wealthy second-generation designer brand. Another man, about 60 years old, was wearing white clothes and looked arrogant. Master Gao, you are finally here. Is this Master Fu you are talking about? Shangguan Wuji, who was in despair and collapse, was extremely excited, and the flame of hope burned in his eyes again. Dean Lu and other doctors, as well as all the ice warriors, also looked happy. What's the background of these two guys? Yan Yan? Lin Shu asked. That careless guy is Gao Kasheng, the eldest son of the powerful Chamber of Commerce. He is a disgusting and annoying fly. As for the other person, judging from the logo on his clothes, he should be from Yaowang Valley. Hearing this, Lin Shu started to think deeply. The Qiangsheng Chamber of Commerce is one of the two chambers of commerce that is as famous as the Wanbao Chamber of Commerce. The two have been in a competitive relationship for hundreds of years, and naturally they have to fight openly and secretly. The Medicine King Valley is famous in China and has been passed down for thousands of years. According to legend, the Valley Masters of the past generations had superb medical skills and could bring people back to life and shape their souls into their bodies. Master of the Shangguan family, please don't panic. Master Fu has mastered the true biography of Yaowang Valley and has superb medical skills. He will ensure that Mr. Shangguan is fine if he personally takes action. Gao Kasheng said with a smile. Shangguan Wuji was ecstatic in his heart and bowed his hands. I also asked Master Fu to save my father's life. I am very grateful. Can you prepare the 500 million in medical expenses? Pay first and then save people. This is my rule, Master Fu said coldly. Of course. Shangguan Wuji looked respectful, bent down and handed over a bank card with both hands. Okay, please step back 3 feet and don't stop me from casting the spell. And all you low-level doctors and ice warriors should also retreat. There will be nothing to do here without you. Everyone looked at each other and retreated. Cousin, these people from Yaowang Valley are too arrogant. Zhou Hong's eyes turned cold. The power of Yaowang Valley is definitely beyond our Yu family's ability to compete with. Don't cause trouble, Yu Yao said solemnly. Bang! I saw Master Fu swipe his hands, a large swath of runes appeared, and countless silver needles floated in the air. The reason why this evil fire becomes more powerful is because it absorbs the spiritual power and vitality in the human body. Once you lose this source of power, you are no more afraid than a ferocious beast without its fangs. Phew! Under his control, silver needles were entangled with spiritual power and penetrated into the various acupuncture points of Mr. Shangguan. Is this one of the secret methods of Yaowang Valley, the acupuncture method of sealing acupoints? A doctor exclaimed. According to legend, this acupuncture method has a total of 24 changes, which can seal off a person's blood, spiritual power, meridians, vitality, breathing, etc. It has endless mysteries, Dean Lu said with blazing eyes. Although he has been practicing medicine for decades, he has only heard about the acupoint sealing acupuncture method. He did not expect to see it with his own eyes now. For doctors like them, this is undoubtedly a great opportunity. Really, as the acupoint sealing acupuncture method was performed, the black evil fire in Mr. Shangguan's body weakened rapidly. Everyone was amazed at this. Miaoyan, you're here too. I've been calling you these past few days, why don't you answer the phone? I'm holding a party at home today and inviting many friends. I'll introduce you to them then. Gao Kasheng walked up to Wan Miaoyan and said with a flattering smile. Sorry, I have an appointment tonight. Wan Miaoyan said calmly, with a look of disgust in her eyes. It's okay if you have a date. Let's play together. I'm sure your friend will be very happy. After all, I, Gao Kasheng, am one of the few rich second generations in Zhongling. I have a wide network and many friends. Who wouldn't want to make friends with me? Gao Kasheng raised his head and smiled. Common man, is it interesting that others keep stalking you even though they have clearly rejected you? Lin Shu was speechless. Who are you, kid? What do you want to do so close to my Miaoyan home? Gao Kasheng asked arrogantly. However, before Lin Shu could reply, a strange and sinister laughter rang out. He is a big celebrity in our Zhongling city. You don't know Mr. Gao. Zhou Hong walked over as if he were watching a show. Oh, little sister Zhou, tell me about it. Gao Kasheng suddenly became interested. His surname is Lin Mingshu, and he is a genius who has awakened his SSS-level natural water talent. Oh, I remember this young master. He is the little wild dog who dared to speak rudely to little sister Yuyao and was not adopted by the Lui family. That's him. Mr. Gao probably doesn't know yet. He is President Wan's boyfriend. Boom. The joking smile on Gao Kasheng's face disappeared, replaced by endless coldness. This evil-minded woman is clearly trying to bring hatred to me. Looking at Zhou Hong's stern expression, Lin Shu's pupils narrowed. Is Miaoyan real? Gao Kasheng asked forcefully. So what if it is? So what if it's not? Wan Miaoyan said coldly, never looking at the other party. Whoever competes with me for women will die. Gao Kasheng turned his head sharply and stared at Lin Shu with ferocious eyes, his murderous intent not concealed at all. Gao Kasheng, I'm warning you, don't act recklessly. Wan Miaoyan shouted sharply. It seems that what Zhou Xiaomei said is true. Otherwise you wouldn't protect him like this. I, Gao Kasheng, am powerful, but in what way am I inferior to this poor boy? Miaoyan, tell me. But I have been chasing you for 5 years, a full 5 years. I have obeyed you in every possible way, but you have never watched a movie or had a meal with me. It would be better for you to just turn around and take off your clothes and go to bed with this pretty boy, ah. Gao Kasheng roared crazily and his face became ferocious. Lin, just wait and bear Mr. Gao's rage like a storm. Seeing that her plan had succeeded, Zhou Hong showed a playful smile. If you don't have the skills, don't go around messing around with flowers. You deserve it. Yu Yao hummed in her heart. Gao Kasheng, have you had enough trouble? Wan Miaoyan's face was ashen. Do you really want to protect this pretty boy? Gao Kasheng smiled cruelly and patted him with both hands. Phew, phew. Suddenly, a large number of bodyguards from powerful chambers of commerce rushed in. At the same time, Elder Lu of Wanbao Tower seemed to be aware of it and looked solemnly at the roof not far away. There stood an old woman with a stooped body and dark spots on her face. Miss, the poisonous scorpion woman from the Qiangsheng Chamber of Commerce is also here. Elder Lu whispered secretly. Hearing this, Wan Miaoyan's face darkened. Another 6th-level martial lord. What's wrong with Wan Miaoyan's claim that I am her boyfriend? Aren't you trying to trick me to death? Beauty is a disaster. Lin Shu felt bitter and couldn't help complaining in his heart. Why don't you explain it? But looking at the appearance of Gao Qifan, I'm afraid I won't listen. Random task trigger. Option 1. Kneel down and apologize sincerely to the other party, and be rewarded with the artifact Yishan sword. Option 2. Acknowledge the identity of Wan Miaoyan's boyfriend, slap him 3 times in public, and reward Emperor Kai with the 8-gate Dunjia. Yishan sword, a divine weapon that can destroy heaven and earth. Even if his spiritual power is only 60 points, he can still use the power of the divine weapon to kill powerful warriors of the 5th level and even the 6th level. Lin Shu seemed to be able to imagine the domineering scene of himself standing on the top of the mountain holding the heavenly sword, killing everyone. But when he saw the conditions for obtaining the Yishan sword, he gave up the idea instantly. As the saying goes, a man has gold at his knees. He can give in or apologize to others. Only kneeling is not enough, because this is the last dignity of a man. Option 2. acknowledge the identity of Wan Miaoyan's boyfriend, slap him 3 times in public, and reward Emperor Kai with the 8 armored body techniques. Emperor Kai's 8-gate Dunjia. That's the real man who almost kicked out the finale of Naruto. Looking at the second option, Lin Shu's pupils flickered. This Gao Kasheng is the eldest son of a powerful chamber of commerce and has a distinguished status. If I slap him in public, it will definitely trigger his crazy revenge. If Wan Miaoyan is determined to protect me, the people she brought this time can compete with me. But she is a businessman after all, and I have only known her for a day or two, so we don't have a deep relationship with her. But this is Shangwan's family after all. It's okay to fight in a small way. If there is a large-scale killing, Shangwan Wuji will not sit idly by and ignore it. To take a step back, even if Wan Miaoyan can't protect me, with the outbreak of Baman Dunjia, I can still leave safely with Gao Kasheng as a hostage. In just a moment, Lin Shu's brain analyzed the situation thoroughly. Are you that ugly man who has no shame and keeps pestering my Yan Yan? What a fool, why don't you take a pee and take a picture of yourself, are you qualified to tease my wife? His expression instantly became arrogant, and he spoke harshly to Gao Kasheng. What did you say, kid? Say it again if you have the ability. Gao Kasheng roared. Bang, what he got in return was a loud slap in the face. Your deaf master is not deaf, so don't bark here, Lin Shu said domineeringly. Ah, how dare you hit? Gao Kasheng was so angry that his whole body was shaking, and his eyes were bloodshot. Snap, snap, you're the one I'm going to hit. Before the other party could finish yelling, Lin Shu started smacking his mouth. The astonishing force completely stunned Gao Kasheng, and the left side of his face seemed to be crooked. Ah, I have to kill you today. Gao Kasheng roared in anger. As the future successor of a powerful chamber of commerce, he has been aloof from the day he was born, treating ordinary people as ants. Have you ever been insulted by pointing fingers like this? Have you ever been slapped in the face like this in public? What? Mr. Gao was slapped. Oh my god, has Lin Shu eaten the courage of a bear's heart and a leopard's heart? He is seeking death like this. President Wan can protect him for a while, but cannot protect him for a lifetime. This boy Lin has caused a huge disaster. HMPH. You will not survive if you do something wrong. Many people looked at Lin Shu as if he were a dead person. Haha, you are seeking death yourself, but it has nothing to do with me. Zhou Hong sneered in her heart. What a nice word for your woman. Is that person named Wan worthy of your life and death? Yu Yao felt sad. Just like when she threw her old shoes into the trash can, but was picked up and worn by a beggar, she felt very uncomfortable. Not to mention other people, even Wan Miaoyan was completely dumbfounded. She never expected that Lin Shu would act so recklessly, completely without regard for the consequences. But when she saw Gao Kasheng being attacked and slapped, she felt happy. If it weren't for her status, she would have wanted to do this a long time ago. Ding! The mission is completed. Congratulations to the host for obtaining Emperor Kai's 8-gate Dunjia. Hearing this, Lin Shu looked happy. Go to hell, Gao Kasheng roared, his right arm petrified and he clenched his fist and struck out with a powerful blow. Lin Shu dodged the attack and quickly hid behind Wan Miaoyan. Yan Yan, please protect me, this guy is so fierce, I'm so scared. He patted his chest, showing a timid and panicked look. Holy shit, I thought that although this guy was arrogant, he was still a real man, but I didn't expect him to be this kind of guy. Xiaoming pulls Lu Ban, a dog fights with human power. Many people were deeply despised. What kind of hero saves a beauty? What kind of anger turns beauty into beauty? None of that is bullshit. Wan Miaoyan's face darkened, and she had the urge to kick Lin Shu away. Bold maniac, die. Suddenly, a hoarse voice sounded. As soon as the word, death, fell, murderous intent swept across the sky. A strange black energy billowed from the roof not far away, transforming into a scorpion and attacking Lin Shu. This is a poisonous scorpion. Lin Shu was frightened, but did not dodge. Because he knew that staying with Wan Miaoyan was the safest. Elder Lu, Wan Miaoyan shouted. Miss, you. Hey. Elder Lu glanced at Lin Shu and sighed heavily, waving his sleeves. Crash. The black chain keeps getting bigger, like a black dragon and a black scorpion colliding together. Boom. A crashing sound came from the void. The black scorpion was blown away and turned into a thick mist that filled the air. Although the black chain was not destroyed, Lin Shu clearly noticed that its body had become smaller and its movements had become much slower. No, this mist is poisonous. Ah, save me. Someone accidentally exhaled, and strange black spots appeared on his face, and he died instantly from the poison. Enough. This is my Shangguan mansion, not the Wanbao Chamber of Commerce, nor the Qiangsheng Chamber of Commerce. Shangguan Wuji shouted violently. So special. I asked you to come to save people, not to cause trouble and kill people. At this moment, 6 old men appeared on the roof. They came out like swords, and their majestic spiritual power rose up and printed a palm. There was a loud bang, and an astonishing wave of wind blew away the poisonous mist. President Wan, Mr. Gao, our Shangguan family doesn't cause trouble, but that doesn't mean we are afraid of trouble. Elder Lu, Granny Poisonous Scorpion, don't try to deceive me into having no one in Shangguan's family. 2 of them had serious expressions and spoke one after another. That's the old man from the Shangguan family. His cultivation has reached the peak of the 5th level martial arts. Someone said with fearful eyes. Elder Lu and Granny Poisonous Scorpion looked at each other and withdrew their spiritual power and momentum. Is this the background of Zhongling's wealthy family? Lin Shu secretly asked. When you leave Shangguan Mansion, Mr. Lin, I will kill you with my own hands. Gao Kasheng gritted his teeth, his eyes filled with strong reluctance. Lin Shu sneered at this. Look, the evil fire on Mr. Shangguan's body has completely disappeared. An exclamation suddenly came from not far away. Master Fu, has the evil fire in my father's body been completely eliminated? Shangguan Wuji asked urgently. The evil fire has been suppressed into my body. As long as the old man takes my special poison-quenching fire-killing pill, he will be done. Master Fu said proudly. He took out a pill from his arms and put it into the mouth of the unconscious old man Shangguan. The effect of the medicine was astonishing. Mr. Shangguan's face turned rosy, and his aura that was originally as thin as a floating thread became calm and strong. Soon, he slowly woke up. Dad, are you okay? Shangguan Wuji was ecstatic. Thank you, Master Fu, for saving your life. The old man knelt down and paid homage. Master Fu deserves to be from Yaowang Valley. His superb medical skills put us to shame. I am 47 years old this year and naturally have AB level wood talent. I am willing to give you half of my property. I sincerely ask Master Fu to accept me as your disciple. Those doctors knelt down and worshipped like believers, their eyes full of passion and yearning. Your qualifications are too poor and you are not worthy of being my master's apprentice. But, seeing how sincere you are, I can give you some advice. Master Fu pinched his beard and said arrogantly. Hearing this, all the doctors burst into tears of gratitude. Mr. Lin, you were too impulsive just now. Gao Kasheng is a narrow-minded person. If you fall into his hands, I'm afraid. Wan Miaoyan frowned, and she realized that Lin Shu was not listening to her at all. Ha ha, what a holy land of medicine. What acupoint sealing acupuncture method. The people in Yaowang Valley are nothing more than that. Yan, let's go. Mr. Shangguan is about to die soon. Lin Shu sneered, turned and left with a look of disdain. What, Mr. Shangguan is not going to die soon? No, he seemed to have completely recovered. Wan Miaoyan was a little confused. My lady, this guy may have good potential, but he's outspoken and doesn't know the limits of the world. He's not under your control yet. I would like to advise you not to get too close to him. The old guys in the clan have become more and more dissatisfied with you recently. Elder Lu said cautiously. Hearing this, Wan Miaoyan looked complicated. Kid, stop. Suddenly, a sharp shout came. Buzz. The residual light flickered, and Master Fu had stopped in front of Lin Shu. Is something wrong? Lin Shu raised an eyebrow. Master, I have a very good ear. You just said wildly that the people in Yaowang Valley are just like this, and that Mr. Shangguan is not going to die soon. Do you really think you can leave so easily? Master Fu said with cold eyes. Ah, this boy Lin really said that. Arrogant people dare to question Master Fu's medical skills. Bold Lin Shu apologized to Master Fu immediately. All the doctors roared angrily. As the saying goes, misfortune comes from the mouth. Mr. Lin, please stop using your words. Even Dean Lu frowned. That's enough. You're not a doctor, why are you showing off your prestige here? Yu Yao shouted arrogantly. Are you teaching me how to do things? Don't act like a teacher in front of me. It looks disgusting, Lin Shu retorted. Yu Yao was a little angry. She couldn't figure out where the gangster Lin in front of her had the confidence. First, he slapped Gao Kasheng in public, and now he provoked Master Fu from Yaowang Valley like this. Do you really think that by climbing up to a woman named Wan, you can be domineering and not take anyone into consideration? Cousin, this little fool is looking for death, why do you have to stop me? Zhou Hong sneered with a crooked mouth. Yes, she and the other party have terminated their engagement and they have nothing to do with each other. Why are you worrying so much? With this thought, Yu Yao's expression returned to cold. She wanted to see if Wan Miaoyan would offend Yaowang Valley for this fool. Master Fu saved my father, your merits are immeasurable. If you don't apologize today, you will never leave my Shangguan mansion alive. Shangguan Wuji shouted angrily, as if he could not suppress the murderous intention in his heart. Apologize, apologize, all the doctors also sternly echoed. Miaoyan, do you still want to protect this pretty boy? He has offended not only Master Fu, but the reputation and honor of the entire Yaowang Valley. Gao Kasheng threatened. Wan Miaoyan opened her mouth to speak, but when she saw Elder Lu shaking his head at her, she fell silent. Just wish yourself well, she sighed in her heart. Brother Lin, if you hadn't used the power of the flame elf to force out the evil fire from my body, the consequences would have been disastrous. I'm very grateful to you for this. But it doesn't mean that you can talk freely. The old man Shangguan first bowed his hands to Lin Shu to express his gratitude, and then his eyes became stern. Oh, from what you're saying, are you sure that you have completely recovered? It's not a complete recovery, but compared to before, my physical strength and vitality are indeed recovering rapidly. If this junior told you that this is just a flashback, the evil fire has invaded your heart, and within 10 breaths it will break out and eventually burn your heart to death, would you believe it? Lin Shu smiled jokingly. Mr. Shangguan raised his eyelids and touched his chest. When he felt the strong heartbeat, he shook his head slightly. Lin Shu, you were just a blind cat that met a dead mouse. Do you really think you are a miracle doctor? Zhou Hong mocked. What a flashback, what a heart-burning death. You can see it with your naked eyes. Ha ha, Master Fu laughed, as if he had heard the biggest joke in the world. There are all kinds of wonders in the world. Maybe he has opened the rumored celestial eye. Gao Kasheng sneered. If he opens his eyes, he is really blind. Ha ha. Everyone burst into laughter, their eyes filled with contempt. 9 breaths, 8 breaths. 6, 5 breaths. Lin Shu was unmoved by the ridicule and teasing of the crowd, and he kept counting. Is Mr. Shangguan's heart really invaded by evil fire? Wan Miaoyan's heart trembled. Others don't know it, but she knows that in addition to Lin Shu's water talent, he also hides some mysterious eye skills. Don't be pretentious here, let me teach you a lesson for Master Fu. Gao Kasheng smiled grimly. Click, click, half of his body was petrified, and a heavy, indestructible aura filled the air. The spiritual power value exceeded 300 points. Unlike before, this time the powerful man from the Shangguan family not only did not interfere, but also looked indifferent. Come on, let me see how powerful the rumored natural water talent of SSS is. No, I made a mistake. How useless. Ha ha. Gao Kasheng laughed wildly. As long as Wan Miaoyan's people don't interfere, he can easily control this poor boy in front of him with one hand. 2 breaths, 1 breath. Lin Shu's 3 Magatama Sharingan eyes disappeared in an instant. Ah, just when Gao Kasheng was about to launch an attack, Mr. Shangguan beside him suddenly let out a shrill scream. Puff! He spat out a large mouthful of blood, his body fell straight down, twitching violently, his eyes filled with horror and strong disbelief. No, Mr. Shangguan fainted. How could this happen? Is it true that the evil fire invaded his heart as this boy Lin said? Boom, boom. Faced with the sudden change, the whole audience caused a huge sensation. Has this gangster Lin guessed correctly again? Yu Yao was stunned, with a look of disbelief on her face. If this is really the case, then the other party's luck would be too unlucky. Master Fu, hurry up and save people. Shangguan Wuji's eyes turned red. Master, I am here, please don't panic, master of the Shangguan family. Hearing his roar, Master Fu suddenly came back to his senses. Buzz, buzz, the silver needle reappeared, entwined with green light and pierced into the chest of Mr. Shangguan, but the silver needle turned black strangely and quickly. What? Evil fire invades my heart. He was shocked and turned pale. Immediately, he gritted his teeth and wrapped his palms with majestic wood attribute spiritual power, imprinting it on the chest of Mr. Shangguan. Puff! Mr. Shangguan spat out a mouthful of blood, but he was still unconscious and his breath was as weak as silk. Master Fu, what is going on? Shangguan Wuji asked anxiously. This evil fire is too weird, good at hiding its own aura, and it seems that the evil fire demon king is secretly controlling it. Now the evil fire has invaded my heart. It is beyond the reach of gods to save me. But the head of the Shangguan family doesn't have to worry too much. His old man will not become the puppet of the evil fire demon king, because when the fire goes out and the heart stops, the fire goes out. Master Fu said with an expressionless face, as if he had been used to life and death for a long time. Didn't you just say that a small evil fire is nothing to be afraid of? Didn't you just say that it was completely cured? Why are you saying now that his heart is filled with evil fire and cannot be saved by gods? After hearing what Master Fu said, Shangguan Wuji was filled with anger. If it weren't for the power and face of Yaowang Valley, he would really want to slap this bullshit master to death. Wow, it's really evil fire that invades my heart. Has Lin Shu's mouth been opened before? Why is he so smart? Everyone looked at Lin Shu with different eyes, some were shocked, some were stunned, some were confused. His strange eyes are probably not inferior to the rumored white eyes. Wan Miaoyan said secretly. He must have been secretly cursing the old man or poisoning him, otherwise how could he know so clearly? Ant Lan said with cold eyes. Ha ha, if I had the power of curse, you would already be a corpse. As for poisoning, that's even more ridiculous, because I didn't get even half a step closer to him from beginning to end. And there are so many eyes staring at them here. Could it be possible that they are all blind? Lin Shu said with a mocking look on his face. Ant Lan was so angry that she almost burst her heart and lungs. That's enough. You surnamed Lin, get out of here. Shangguan Wuji was like a ferocious beast, staring at Lin Shu with his scarlet pupils. Ever since this Lin Shu appeared, everything has gone from bad to worse. He was like a bad guy. Originally, I wanted to save his life out of Niu-Niu's affection, but let it go. I don't want to keep you here, I have my own place to keep you. Lin Shu put his hands in his pockets and walked away casually. Phew. However, as soon as he took a step, he was blocked by several figures. They were the 6 elders of the Shangguan family who were at the peak of the martial arts sect. Do you Shangguan still want to force me to stay? Lin Shu's eyes suddenly opened, and an invisible overlord aura erupted from his body. Although the 3 Magatama Sharingan disappeared in an instant, Lu Lao clearly captured that ray of crimson light. The 6 people seemed to feel great pressure, and their foreheads were covered with sweat. These are strange eyes. No wonder he has been able to detect strange things inside his hometown's main body many times. The 6 people looked at each other as if they had made a decision. Mr. Lin, please don't misunderstand. We have no intention of offending. We just want to implore you to save this old man's life. A fat old man said cautiously with his hands arched. The great elder is so confused. This guy is a liar and a thief. How can you believe his words? Ant Lan shouted anxiously. Boom! A wave of spiritual energy blasted her away, spurting out a large mouthful of blood. Don't forget your identity, and you won't do it again. The great elder gave her a cold look. Yes. Ant Lan lowered her head and responded, her hatred for Lin Shu getting stronger in her heart. Without any relatives and fate, why should I save him? Lin Shu said with cold eyes. Since Mr. Lin has come to Shangguan Mansion, he must have come to save people. Just make an offer, the elder said. Sure enough, Zhang is still old and hot. But now I have changed my mind. Lin Shu shrugged. The 6 elders frowned, and then they looked at Shangguan Wuji in unison. Why are you still standing there in a daze? Apologize to Mr. Lin quickly. The great elder shouted violently. Shangguan Wuji's face was ashen and his eyes were hesitant. What, do you want to watch your father fall? The great elder was so angry that he blew his beard and stared. Shangguan Wuji gritted his teeth, bent down and cupped his hands and said, "If Mr. Lin can really save my father's life, I am willing to kowtow to you personally and apologize. As the saying goes, saving one life is better than building a 7-level pagoda. If Mr. Lin really has a way, I am willing to obey your orders." Dean Lu bowed sincerely. Task trigger. Save Shangguan Wuliang, and you can get the superpower, Wandering of the Gods. The mechanical sound of the system sounded again. Hearing this, Lin Shu felt happy. Ahem. He cleared his throat and said, "You can also let me save people, and the reward will be 2 billion. What? 2 billion? Oh my god. Is this guy crazy about money? Master Fu, a talent from the Medicine King Valley, wants 500 million. The crowd was in an uproar and talking about it. Greed is enough to swallow an elephant. If you can't save Mr. Shangguan, let's see how you end up. Zhou Hong sneered in her heart. You won't change your mind. Isn't my 300 million divorce fee not enough for you? Yu Yao's cheeks bulged. Okay, I promise you as the eldest elder of the Shangguan family. But first, you must completely remove the evil fire from the main body of my hometown and save him. The eldest elder said majestically. HMPH. The evil fire invades the heart, let alone a young brat like you. Even if the Valley Master comes in person, he can't be saved. Master Fu said scornfully. If Yu Yao Wengu can't save him, that only shows your incompetence. Lin Shu mocked. What a sharp-tongued kid. If you can really save him, I will pronounce my name backwards from now on. Master Fu was furious. Are you really sure? Wan Miaoyan stepped forward and asked with worried eyes. Lin Shu smiled confidently and walked towards Master Shangguan, who was unconscious, with his heartbeat and breathing almost completely stopped. Look, what does he want to do? Colorless water. Is this his SSS level talent? Lin Shu raised a finger, and the chaotic rootless water without attributes flowed into the body along the mouth of Mr. Shangguan. Visible to the naked eye, Mr. Shangguan's belly was slowly being stretched, as if he had been pregnant for several months. At this moment, Lin Shu suddenly squatted down. He placed his hands on Mr. Shangguan's chest, and the breath of water circulated. Chaos rootless water. Cold attribute. Buzz. The colorless water in Mr. Shangguan's body quickly turned blue and turned into extremely cold water. Click, click. Although the water is cold, it does not freeze. But Mr. Shangguan's body instantly turned into a blue ice sculpture, exuding a terrifying cold aura. What? He actually. Yu Yao lost her composure and exclaimed. She also had beautiful eyes full of astonishment and extreme disbelief. It's so shockingly cold. What did this guy named Lin do? Wow, isn't he gifted with water? How can he have the power of ice? Something's wrong. This guy's spiritual power value is not 1, but reaches 60 points, the peak of a 2nd-level warrior. Ah. How is that possible? Boom. The power Lin Shu unleashed shocked everyone present. Did he hide his cultivation before in Wanbao Tower? Or did his spiritual power grow explosively in such a short period of time? Wan Miaoyan muttered absent-mindedly. How could this happen? His spiritual power is superior to mine. Moreover, the ice-cold power he possesses can actually rival my phoenix purple ice. Yu Yao clenched her fists with both hands and bit her red lips, feeling unwilling and complicated emotions welling up in her heart. He must have practiced some kind of forbidden technique. Although he can quickly improve his cultivation level, it also destroys his foundation. He is destined not to go far in this life. Zhou Hong said with cold eyes. This little beast has evil intentions and evil thoughts. Maybe he sold his soul and lifespan in a deal with the devil to gain short-term power. If this beast doesn't die, there will be no peace in China. Ant Lan and Gao Kasheng said with resentment on their faces. Hearing this, Yu Yao's delicate body trembled, and her expression returned to calm. If this is really the case, your dazzling light now is just a flash in the pan. This guy really has some tricks up his sleeve. The eyes of the 6 old men in Shangguan lit up and they quickly dispersed. The power of a generation of masters rose up in their bodies. Mr. Lin, please do your best to save this person. 6 of us will protect you. Everyone waiting here, please leave immediately. Boom, boom. The majestic spiritual power merged into the power of Wuzong, forming a barrier that enveloped Lin Shu and Mr. Shangguan. Everyone's vision and perception were also completely cut off. Master Fu, what do you think? Dean Liu asked humbly. Evil fire invades the heart. Once the fire is extinguished, the heartbeat will stop. No matter how powerful the ice power is, it will be meaningless. Master Fu said with disdain in his white robe. In the barrier, Lin Shu looked solemn and controlled the chaotic rootless water with the breath of water, seeping into the heart of Mr. Shangguan. Chi-Chi. When the evil fire encounters the chaotic rootless water, it flees as if seeing a ghost. Anyone caught up will turn into a plume of black smoke and dissipate. Ah, the water is so weird and cold. A scream of terror rang out. Suddenly, everything in Lin Shu's eyes changed. The black mist is billowing and evil spirits are filling the air, as if falling into a cave somewhere in the abyss of hell. Puff! The evil fire rose, and along with the sound of footsteps, a terrifying evil thing walked out of the darkness. It is 5 meters tall, has 2 curved horns on its head, long bone wings on its back, and reverse spines on its hands and feet, and has an evil look. Human, you are so brave, how dare you challenge the majesty of this demon king? I hope you have some means. Kneel down and surrender. This demon king will grant you supreme demon power to help you unify this city. The evil fire demon king looked down at Lin Shu, showing his ferocious fangs and smiled. It seems that I guessed right. You are indeed the one behind the scenes. Lin Shu raised his head and stared at him without any trace of fear on his face. Aren't you afraid of this demon king? The evil fire demon king was stunned. In its expectation, the human being in front of it should be trembling with fear and immediately kneel down and beg for mercy. Could it be that this is a fool? It's just a trace of regret. Why should I be afraid? Lin Shu joked with a smile. Arrogant, even if there is even a trace of residual thoughts, it will be easy for me to kill you. The evil fire demon king roared. Pong! Its body curled up and turned into a stream of black evil fire that rushed into Lin Shu's body. Click, click, Lin Shu's figure swelled, strange black symbols appeared on his face, horns grew on his forehead, and his nails became sharp. Ha ha, from now on, you will be my puppet incarnation. Well, but as soon as he finished speaking, 2 Lin Shu heads strangely grew out of his left and right shoulders. What did you just say? The 2 of them smiled evilly at the same time. Ah! Who are you? The arrogant evil fire demon king was shocked and a strong sense of something bad came over him. Thump, thump, in its shocked eyes, the head occupied by it split open, and countless black crows rushed out. Illusion. This is an illusion. Ah, hateful human boy, I will remember you. If you dare to step into the black demon forest, I will let you die without a burial place. The dark space was filled with the terrified roar of the evil fire demon king. It's been going well for a while, what's going on inside? Do you think this boy Lin can really save Mr. Shangguan? Even Master Fu is helpless, so it's just him. Outside the barrier, everyone was talking a lot. Suddenly, the 6 elders of the Shangguan family seemed to notice something and their eyes lit up. Bang! The 6 people raised their hands and waved, and the barrier disappeared. Look, that's, oh my god, he actually, boom. Everyone seemed to have seen something incredible and screamed in confusion. I saw Mr. Shangguan, who was unconscious and dying before, now shaking his body and slowly standing up. He knelt down with a plop and kowtowed 3 times. Shangguan Wuliang thanks Mr. Lin for saving his life. If you look carefully, you will find a trace of deep fear in the depths of his pupils. Because when he was unconscious just now, he seemed to see the young man in front of him using strange means to swallow up a remnant of the evil fire demon king's soul. That's the evil fire demon king. Even if it is just a ray of remnant soul, it is definitely not something ordinary people can contend with. Ding! The mission is completed. Congratulations to the dormitory for getting the talent, Wandering God. Fugue. Space System Ability. Level 1 can be upgraded. Ability. You can shuttle freely within 100 meters, consuming 3% of your own energy each time. After reaching level 2, the shuttle range increases to 1 kilometer. Hiss. Lin Shu took a deep breath while looking at the introduction about the fugue. Such a heaven-defying ability is much better than Flash. Old Master, what do you think? Shangguan Wuji, 6 people are excited. Although the body is still weak, I dare to conclude that the evil fire has been completely driven away this time. Shangguan Wuliang said. Master Shangguan, you said the same thing before, but in the end it wasn't the evil fire invasion that almost killed Cao Cao. In my opinion, this is still a reflection of the past. The bodyguards brought by Gao Kasheng cheered. Hearing this, Shangguan Wuji showed worry again on his face. Is this true? Let me find out if this is the case. Master Fu put his hand gently on Shangguan Wuliang's chest. What? The evil fire is really going to disappear completely. How did you do it, kid? He shouted with a shocked expression. As soon as he said this, everyone was stunned. May I ask what your name is? Lin Shu asked seriously. My surname is Fu, and my given name only has the character for history. You can just call me Master Fu. This master has some tricks for you. As long as you tell me how to get rid of the evil fire, I will write a letter of recommendation and let you become the disciple of Yao Wengu. Master Fu pinched his beard and said proudly. It turns out to be Master Shi. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Lin Shu said with an enigmatic smile. You're looking for death. Master Fu looked fierce after reacting. When had he, a great disciple of Yaowang Valley, been humiliated like this? How dare you, surnamed Lin. Who are you? How dare you talk to Master Fu like this? You ignorant boy, don't think it was really you who saved Mr. Shangguan. This is all the credit of Miss Yu Yao and Master Fu. That's right, Master Fu's acupuncture and elixirs must have taken effect just now. This guy just happened to do it by chance. Gao Kasheng and his subordinates said coldly. That's enough, I'm not blind. Mr. Gao, I appreciate your kindness. Please go ahead. Come, let's see the guests off. Shangguan Wuliang and Lu Lao said angrily. HMPH, you will regret it. Let's go, Master Fu. Gao Kasheng gritted his teeth. There were many people gathered in the Shangguan family's meeting hall at the moment. Thank you for your help this time. My Shangguan family is deeply grateful. Mr. Lin is giving you 2 billion as a reward. I hereby promise that if you need it in the future, the entire Shangguan family will help you. Shangguan Wuliang handed over a bank card. Lin Shu didn't show any pretense and accepted it directly. Che, Mr. Shangguan's resurrection is all thanks to you and Master Fu, my cousin. Why can he get 2 billion? Zhou Hong complained at the side. She didn't think that the scumbag in front of her, a guy who had never had 100 meridians, could have the means to restrain the evil fire. Miss Zhou, Mr. Lin is the benefactor of our Shangguan family. If you continue to disrespect him, I will have no choice but to see you off. Shangguan Wuliang gave her a cold look. Suddenly, Zhou Hong's face turned pale. Master Shangguan, I don't know what we agreed on before. Yu Yao said. Don't worry, Miss Yu Yao. I'll keep my word, Aunt Lan. Shangguan Wuji called out. Aunt Lan lowered her head and came carrying a metal box. Yu Yao took it and opened it, and her eyes suddenly lit up. What is this? Lin Shu asked. This is the Ice Yuan Pearl. It is very rare. For ice warriors, it is something that can only be encountered but not sought. With it, your old lover can break through to the 3rd level or even the 4th level warrior in a very short period of time. Wan Miaoyan said with some envy. Why are you still standing there? Serve tea quickly, the eldest elder of the Shangguan family said to Aunt Lan. Yes, Aunt Lan responded and stepped back. Master Lin, President Wan, Miss Yu Yao, please, this is a 500-year-old Longjing, please taste it. Elder Shangguan smiled and made a gesture of invitation before taking a sip of tea. Looking at the tea in his hand, Lin Shu frowned. Master Lin, don't you like drinking tea? Wan Miaoyan asked in surprise. Sister Wan, you are her girlfriend, don't you know whether he likes it or not? Yu Yao said with her red lips slightly opened and she took a sip gracefully. If you put it like that, little sister Yu Yao, you were once the fiancée of Mr. Lin, so you must know more about it. Wan Miaoyan said with a smile, and she was not an economical person either. There's something wrong with this tea. Suddenly, Lin Shu slapped the tea away from Wan Miaoyan's hand. Mr. Lin, what are you? Wan Miaoyan was stunned. She didn't believe that the Shangguan family dared to poison the tea. Offending the Wanbao Chamber of Commerce and the Yu family at the same time will definitely lead to the disaster of annihilation. Master Lin, what do you mean? Shangguan Wuliang frowned, with a hint of displeasure in his expression. However, as soon as he finished speaking, his expression suddenly changed. It's not just him. Yu Yao, Zhou Hong, Shangguan Lulao, Elder Lu and others also felt weak, their faces were pale and frightened. Shangguan family, you are so brave. My cousin is a direct disciple of the Ice and Snow Saint. She will definitely not let you go. Zhou Hong roared. Yu Yao's whole body was filled with energy, and her eyes were cold. She never thought that the Shangguan family would be so crazy and repay kindness with hatred. No, this is tea that I have treasured for many years. There will be no problem. You have helped me save my life, how could I have the intention to do harm to you? Stop talking nonsense. What kind of poison did you poison? Hand over the antidote quickly. Zhou Hong roared. Something's wrong. If it was really the Shangguan family who did it, then Mr. Shangguan, Shangguan Wuji and others should not have been poisoned in the same way. Lin Shu's pupils contracted. Jia Jia. At this moment, a burst of vicious laughter rang out. Aunt Lan, why are you laughing? Could it be? Shangguan Wuji seemed to have thought of something, with a look of disbelief on his face. Yes, it was me who manipulated the tea. Aunt Lan laughed wildly. Boom. As soon as he said this, everyone in the Shangguan family looked incredulous. Wrong. My Shangguan family has raised you for more than 30 years, and you dare to betray me. The great elder shouted violently, and his spiritual power exploded. Puff. But the next second, he vomited a large mouthful of blood and fell directly to the ground. If you dare to force your energy like this after being hit by Po Ling San, you will only die faster. Aunt Lan was extremely arrogant. Po Ling powder. When everyone heard this, their hearts jumped. According to legend, this thing is colorless and odorless. Those who are affected by it will feel full of energy and dizziness. If they forcibly mobilize their spiritual power, they will explode and die. Wan Miaoyan said with a gloomy face. She just made some observations. Except for her and Lin Shu, almost all people with status and strength were poisoned. This is very bad. My Shangguan family treats you well, why are you doing this? Shangguan Wuji roared. Ha ha, are you treating me badly? I clearly have the blood of the Shangguan family in my body, but it's because my mother has a low status and is a maid. So I told the outside world that I was adopted and could only be a servant of your Shangguan family for the rest of my life. Why should I be ridiculed and looked down upon by others from the day I was born? And your daughter is so high above others that she is regarded as the jewel in the Shangguan family's eye. I hate it. I'm not willing to accept it. Aunt Lan seemed to be going crazy and kept roaring. Could it be that the incident where Niunu was almost killed before was also related to you? Shangguan Wuji's eyes widened. It's all the fault of this little fool named Lin, otherwise I would have succeeded long ago, and if it weren't for him, this old guy Shangguan Wuliang wouldn't be alive at all. Aunt Lan said resentfully. Boom. Shangguan Wuji's mind felt like a bolt from the blue, as if he was meeting the woman in front of him for the first time. No wonder you have always been hostile to me. Lin Shu narrowed his pupils. That's enough. My Shangguan family is one of the 3 most wealthy families in Zhongling, and I won't tolerate you running wild. Kill him. Shangguan Wuliang and the great elder Shangguan shouted angrily. Phew. Those Shangguan family members and bodyguards who heard the commotion rushed into the hall. But Aunt Lan didn't show any fear. Instead, she smiled evilly. Haha. Do you think I'm not prepared? She crushed a jade pendant. A strange black hole appeared on the ground, and 2 figures appeared. They were wearing red robes and red masks. The red-robed messenger of the Divine Lotus sect. Lin Shu's heart trembled. He never expected that these guys would show up at Shangguan's house, and they were 2 red-robed messengers. You must know that he was just a 4-star black rogue, and he used all means to kill him. What a sinner, you actually colluded with the people of the Divine Lotus sect. Shangguan Wuliang was shocked and angry. Jia, those who kneel down and surrender can survive, otherwise they will become my shadow slaves. One of the red-robed messengers sneered. Bang, he raised his hands, and strange black shadows crawled out of the black hole. People, although there are human beings, they are not flesh and blood. No, this person's talent is the S-level, Shadow Eater. He can eat the shadow of a warrior and refine it into a shadow slave. In addition to having no body and independent consciousness, these shadow slaves still retain the methods and strength they had during their lifetimes. Elder Lu, who had experienced a lot, screamed in horror. Although he was afraid before, he was not afraid. But now that the spiritual solution has been broken in his body, his strength is weak, and he cannot compete at all. Shadow slaves, let's make a scene. The red-robed messenger waved his right hand. Boom boom. Hundreds of shadow slaves bared their teeth and claws, charging out like zombies. Not only that, I saw another red-robed messenger forming seals, and a black hole appeared on the ground again. Dozens or hundreds of human warriors appeared. The leader was a man with red skin who was riddled with evil spirits. Behind him, 3 people stood. One person carries a giant machete on his back, one is surrounded by blazing flames, and the other is a tall man holding 2 axes. The 3 of them looked fierce. Looking at the 4 leaders, Shengguan Wuji's expression suddenly changed. Leader of the Shui Biao gang, the 3 great Rakshasa. Shui Biao gang, you are so bold, you dare to associate with the people of the Shenlian sect. Aren't you afraid that the lord of the city will punish all 9 of your tribes? Shengguan Wuji shouted. Ha ha, the head of the Shengguan family is so majestic, but you should take care of yourself first. The leader of the Shuibiao gang laughed wildly. Boom, his body shook, and his powerful evil energy killed several Shengguan family bodyguards. These guys are here well prepared. Miss, you run away first and I will cover you. Elder Lu shouted angrily and took a pill. His aura surged rapidly, and his spiritual power was about to reach its peak. Wow, the black chains of the weapon department danced wildly, destroying dozens of shadow slaves who were attacking. Explosive chi pill. The red-robed messenger's pupils shrank. However, a hint of sarcasm quickly appeared on his lips. Although this elixir can allow warriors to gain astonishing spiritual power in a short period of time, it is a double-edged sword. Once the medicinal effect is over, it is like fish on an iron plate that is ready to be slaughtered. Elder Lu, run quickly and leave me alone. Lin Shu shuddered, holding Wan Miaoyan in his arms and stepping on the black chain, using his strength to rush out of the hall. What a hero to save the beauty. But it wasn't her who could be saved, he didn't even look at her. Watching the 2 people leave, Yu Yao bit her red lips tightly, feeling jealous in her heart. Old patriarch, we will work together to force the pulling powder out of your body. No, if you try to force your power, the consequences will be disastrous. Now that the Shengguan family is facing the danger of annihilation, they can no longer care about so much. Our talents are limited and there is no hope of breaking through to the 6th level of martial lord. But my master, you are different. As long as you can break through to martial king, you can keep the Shengguan family alive for hundreds of years. Led by the eldest elder of the Shengguan family, the 6 elders gathered all the spiritual power in their bodies and stamped it on Shengguan Wuliang's back. Boom! After forcing the effects of the medicine out of his body, Shengguan Wuliang's aura instantly increased, and 2 of the 6 old men died suddenly. Today I want to pay for your blood debt with the infinite golden Buddha. Shengguan Wuliang roared sadly, the anger and hatred in his heart reaching the extreme. Bang! I saw him clasping his hands together, and a dazzling light burst out from his body. Boom! Boom! A huge golden Buddha directly hit the roof of the hall. The 30-meter-tall golden Buddha made a palm print and seemed to be invincible, killing dozens of Shui Biao gang disciples instantly. Shengguan people obey the order and kill. Anyone who offends my Shengguan family will die. The disciples of the Shengguan family gritted their teeth and roared, their eyes filled with bloodshot eyes. In an instant, he was fighting with the disciples and shadow slaves of the Shui Biao gang. Brother Fan, I'll leave this old guy to you, and I'll deal with the others first. One of the red-robed messengers said. He pinched the neck of a Shengguan family member in his hand, opened his mouth and sucked the person's body, and swallowed the person's shadow. The next second, a shadow slave crawled out of his mouth. This guy is at the pinnacle of martial arts. Although his injuries have not healed and his strength has been greatly reduced, I am no match for him in a head-to-head confrontation, but it will be easy to stop him. Another messenger in red robe, his 10 fingers were slightly raised in a seal. Bang! A black ball as big as a palm poured out of his hand. The black ball continued to grow, turning into a unique space that completely enveloped Shengguan Wuliang and the huge Buddha body. This person is from the space system. Shengguan Wuji suddenly changed his expression. Master Shengguan, those who know the current affairs are heroes. You'd better stop struggling. The leader of the Shui Biao gang smiled grimly. Roar! His 5 fingers turned into claws, and a ferocious tiger gathered by evil spirits and spiritual power roared and bit Shangguan Wuji. Boom! The spiritual power exploded, throwing up countless gravel and tiles. If you want to hurt my master, you have to step over the old slave's corpse. The old housekeeper of the Shangguan family said with a look of death on his face. Can you leave this gang leader to me? Said the flame demon Rakshasa, one of the 3 great Rakshasas, surrounded by blazing flames. My defeated general, you are not qualified to be my opponent. The old butler said domineeringly. That's such a big tone, what if we add this Rakshasa? Dao Rakshasa showed his machete and unleashed an astonishing sword aura. When the old housekeeper saw this, he did not dare to be careless and immediately unleashed his strongest fighting power. Fugue! Rushing out of the hall, Lin Shu disappeared from his place in an instant. When he appeared again, he was on the roof of a building dozens of meters high. Ah! Space power! Wan Miao Yanmei's eyes were wide open, and her heart was filled with turmoil. Isn't the boy in front of me awakened to have an SSS-level water talent? Why is it a pupil technique and a space teleportation? Lin Shu ignored her shock, but stared above with a gloomy expression. I saw that the entire Shangguan mansion was surrounded by a huge barrier, and not even a fly could fly out. At this time, Wan Miaoyan also noticed something strange. That's the ultimate flag, a low-grade heaven-level flag. And this barrier is actually made up of 12 branches. Even if it is a high-grade spiritual weapon, it will be difficult to break it in a short time. It's over. No wonder the Divine Lotus sect dares to act so unscrupulously. It turns out that it was well prepared. Her face was gray and her eyes were full of despair. The wandering mind can ignore any barriers or independent spaces. The problem is that it has been targeted at him alone. In other words, it is not difficult for Lin Shu to leave, but he has to abandon Wan Miaoyan. Whoosh! Just when he was in trouble, dozens of shadow slaves flew over the walls and chased him. Lin Shu's cold light flashed, and he clapped his hands vigorously. Water escaped, the technique of continuous bombardment with water bombs. The spiritual power turned into water, and dozens or hundreds of fist-sized blue water bombs were fired out like machine guns. Bang bang, bang bang. Although the water bullet is weak, it cannot penetrate the shadow slave's body. But it contains astonishing cold power, instantly freezing them one by one into ice sculptures. The black light flashed, and Shenong's shovel was in hand. Click! The ice sculpture shattered wherever Shenong's shovel passed. The hunt is successful. Congratulations to the host for gaining 135 points. The system voice sounded in Lin Shu's mind. 135 points. Hearing this, he was ecstatic. Looking at the densely packed slave figures below and the hundreds of enemies of the Blood Biao gang, a bold idea came to his mind. Yan Yan, protect yourself next, but don't die. With these words, Lin Shu jumped from the roof. Master Lin, please don't kill me. Wan Miaoyan shouted urgently. Jia Jia, is this one of the 2 beauties in Zhongling rumored to be? She is indeed a slut who will conquer the entire country. President Wan is honored to meet you. I guarantee you'll be happy to play with me and the others. Several strong men from the Shui Biao gang jumped up, surrounded Wan Miaoyan, and smiled evilly. HMPH, even you guys want to play with me? Wan Miaoyan snorted coldly, and the queen's aura reappeared. The stone monster, the blue-scaled golden-horned python, and the flying snow fox come out. And you, the fire elf. Buzz. As she formed the seal, 4 summoning formations appeared. Woman. You have deceived me too much. I have only recovered 2 or 3/10 of my strength before my injury has healed. As soon as the flame elves came out, they shouted in dissatisfaction. Bake. It opened its mouth and spit out a stream of flames, which burned a 3rd-level warrior to ashes. Zhongling Tianling Pavilion. Yes, my subordinates have seen with their own eyes that this child's water talent is extremely special, and actually contains 2 characteristics, flexibility and coldness. And I boldly guess that this chaotic rootless water will awaken more attribute power in the future. My subordinates suggest that we must focus on cultivating this Lin Shu. One day in the future, he will definitely become our top human combat power. It's just that this guy's character is a bit. Manager Zhang reported respectfully to a shadow. At this moment, the tall man wearing a special shirt and a black crow standing on his right shoulder walked in. Guanxi Zhang, there is a huge barrier in Shangguan Mansion. It is possible that the Divine Lotus sect has taken action. What? Manager Zhang's expression changed suddenly when he heard this. Outside Shangguan Mansion, there was a sea of people. This is the front line of the news. The Shangguan family, one of the 3 wealthy families in our city, is currently blocked by a barrier and is suspected of being a terrorist attack. Excuse me, Minister Xiao, is this matter related to the rumored evil force Divine Lotus sect? Some journalists started live broadcasting. Faced with these annoying reporters questioning, Mr. Xiao looked extremely ugly. Because if this matter is not handled properly, it will definitely cause panic among citizens and make people doubt the official capabilities. Woohoo, woo. At this moment, a military plane set off a gust of wind in the sky. Led by Guanxi Zhang, a group of Tianling Pavilion members jumped from midair. When Tianling Pavilion is doing business, please stay out of the way. Otherwise, you will be arrested for obstructing official duties. Manager Zhang shouted domineeringly. Some reporters and anchors still refused to give up and kept coming forward to explore the news. The next second, he was knocked unconscious with a baton and taken away. Everyone was obedient and didn't dare to get any closer. This is the 12 Flags' absolute boundary. Looking at the barrier that enveloped the entire Shangguan family, the tall man said with solemn eyes. Black Crow, can you break it open? It will take some time. How long? If it were just me, it would take at least 3 hours. Manager Zhang. Mr. Xiao hesitated, his eyes revealing strong uneasiness. If you fart, let it go. Mother-in-law and mother-in-law don't look like men. Manager Zhang shouted loudly, as if he hated iron. According to the information I have received so far, in addition to Wan Miaoyan, the president of the Wanbao Chamber of Commerce, the Shangguan family also includes Miss Yu Yao and Lin Shu. Manager Zhang said bravely. Boom. As soon as the word, Lin Shu, was spoken, Guanxi Zhang burst out with a frightening power, and veins popped up on his forehead. Everyone in Tianling Pavilion listens to the order. I don't care what method you use, break this barrier for me within 10 minutes. He shouted anxiously. Lin Shu. That was the son of a prophecy made by the previous generation's old pavilion master who peeked into the future before he died. What's more, besides him, there is Yu Yao who has awakened the SSS-level ice prison Immortal Phoenix. Those thieves from the Divine Lotus sect took advantage of Zhao Tianba's seclusion to launch a sneak attack. You deserve to be worst. He gritted his teeth. The Black Crow, that is, the tall man wearing a battle coat, the crow on his shoulder flew into the air. In the shocked eyes of everyone, its body expanded rapidly, like an ancient mythical beast. The wings are spread out as if they can cover the sky and the sun. The Black Crow flew up into the air and landed on its back. I saw him forming seals with his hands, and his spiritual power surged out like a tidal wave, and he shouted in his throat, secret technique, Yu explosion. The crow neighed, its eyes flashed with a chilling light, and its giant wings flapped violently. Phew, phew, hundreds of crows with black feathers attacked the barrier like densely packed sharp arrows. Boom, boom, the black feathers of these crows hit the barrier, causing a strong bombardment. Do it. At the same time, the Minister of Law Enforcement gave a deep shout and led a group of subordinates to launch a frantic attack on the barrier. Hanfang, one of the captains, was also among them. Within the boundary, there were screams and screams. Blood dyed the earth red, and every living human life was ruthlessly harvested. Water release, water dragon bullet technique. Roar. A green water dragon roared out and entangled several people in an instant. The power of softness. Several Shui Biao gang disciples seemed to be stuck in a swamp, unable to move at all. PFF'd. Black flashes, the tip of the shovel brings up wisps of blood, and cuts several people's throats. My spiritual power is too weak after all, and there is no water source here for me to borrow. I can't fight for a long time just by turning my spiritual power into water. Lin Shu thought to himself, feeling weak as if his spiritual power was about to be exhausted. Boom, boom. Suddenly, there was a dull crashing sound from a certain direction. Not far away, a huge black ball was suspended in the air, like a ferocious beast trapped and struggling. Every time it hits, a golden glow will appear. He immediately activated his Sharingan chakra and penetrated all the memories in the black ball. Ha ha, don't waste your energy, old man. The red-robed messenger surnamed Fan sat cross-legged in the air and said with a joking smile. Hearing this, Shangguan Wuliang's pupils flashed with a cold light. Snap! The huge Buddha statue that was bombarding the barrier suddenly closed its palms and slapped the red-robed messenger surnamed Fan. If I guess correctly, you can make the barrier more impregnable only if you are here. And if you die, the barrier must also disappear, Shangguan Wuliang said coldly. But when he let go of the Buddha's palm, there was no trace of the red-robed messenger. You were right. If I want to trap you, I cannot leave this independent space. But similarly, as long as I am in this space and no one can enter or exit, I am invincible and no one can kill me. After the red-robed messenger surnamed Fan appeared strangely, Shangguan Weiwei appeared, with deep disdain on his lips. However, as soon as he finished speaking, his body suddenly shook. When he looked down, his pupils were wide open, showing strong shock and disbelief. I saw that his chest was completely penetrated by a hand. Sorry, I didn't hear clearly what you just said. Can you say it again? Lin Shu's cold voice came from behind. You actually. Turning to look at Lin Shu, the red-robed messenger was gesturing and ready to speak. Puff! As soon as he finished speaking, his heart was crushed and his eyes were filled with energy. Mr. Lin, how did you get in? Mr. Shangguan exclaimed. You know, this is an independent space. And the red-robed envoy he fought with was a 6th-level martial master, and now he was killed by a junior. There was a bolt from the blue in his mind, and he suspected that everything was a dream. Boom! Until the black independent space disappeared and the huge golden Buddha fell to the ground, causing a collapse and a sandstorm. Only then did he dare to be sure that this was not a dream. The young man in front of him really killed a 6th-level martial master. Ding! Kill a 6th-level martial lord in the early stage and get 8,888 points. 8,888 points. Lin Shu's eyes lit up, and he immediately turned to look at Shangguan Wuliang. Old patriarch, now is not the time to be in a daze. After saying this, he attacked the crowd again. Yes. The family suffered a catastrophe and the clan members were massacred. Every time you waste a point, one more life will be deprived of you. Shenlian sect, Shui Biao gang, I will fight you to the death today. Boom! He roared angrily, and the golden Buddha clapped his hands fiercely. The fluctuations caused by the palm power directly wiped out nearly 100 shadow slaves. What's going on? This old guy is out. Hearing Shangguan Wuliang's roar, the color of the other red-robed messenger suddenly changed. He waved his hands and threw away the 2 corpses. These turned out to be the 2nd and 4th elders of the Shangguan family. Click! He opened his mouth and spat out their 2 slave figures. One entwined with the power of thunder. One has 3 heads and 6 arms. And their aura has suddenly reached the peak of the 5th level. Chapter 51. In a certain utility room, 3 sneaky figures were hiding at the moment. If Lin Shu were here, he would definitely recognize them. It was the famous Tianyu brother who dared to fight Shenong with his head. The other 2 were a fat man and a thin man. At this moment, they were all bandaged, and they seemed to be injured. Especially brother Tianyu. The big iron head that he was so proud of was now wrapped in dozens of layers of white sandcloth and put on a hard helmet. Obviously, there is a shadow in my heart. Woohoo, you are all bad people, open up Niunyu. Niunyu cried while her hands and feet were tied. This girl is too noisy, or I'll kill her directly, the thin man said. That's right. The gang leader said before that if you kill a direct disciple of the Shangguan family, you can get a reward of 100,000 yuan. The fat man was about to make a move. Boom! Brother Tai Niu picked up the iron rod and hit the 2 of them twice on the head. The pain made the 2 of them jump up and burst into tears. You are stupid. You don't even think about it. Why are we hiding here? Isn't it just to save our lives? Judging from the current situation, the red-robed messenger, gang leader and 3 Rakshasa of the Lotus sect have the upper hand. But it's not certain who will win until the end. Don't forget that this is Zhongling City. Tianling Pavilion is in charge, and there is also the King of Martial Power, Lord Zhao. Once they arrive, the gang leader and others are afraid that their entire army will be destroyed. This little girl is Shangguan Wuji's daughter, and her status is extremely special. If we win, we will dedicate her to the gang leader. If the Shangguan family turns defeat into victory, then we can be considered as stepping back from the brink to protect her and have done a good deed. At that time, the merits and demerits will be offset to protect each other's lives. Brother Tai Niu said calmly. As expected of the boss, you are so thoughtful. The thin man said with admiration. Of course, people who know me call me very smart. Brother Tianyu looked embarrassed. But how come you were fooled around by that boy before and even broke your black iron bowl? The fat man looked confused. Come again to expose my scars, whether they are over or not. Brother Tianyu gave the fat man another blow to the head. He gritted his teeth and said, if I see that kid again, I will chop him into 18 pieces to wash away my shame. Brother, your chance for revenge has come. Look there. The fat man suddenly seemed to see something and his eyes lit up. Brother Tianyu frowned and quietly glanced at the crack in the window. Bang bang. He jumped and fell to the ground, fear written on his face. That kid is killing second and third level warriors. How is this possible? He looked like he had seen a ghost. Brother is coming soon. Didn't you say you were going to chop him into pieces? The fat man cheered excitedly. I'll kill you, and I'll kill your sister. The furious brother Tianyu kicked him in the face crazily. The thin man on the side saw it and swallowed hard in horror. Click. A shovel fell down and the blue ice shattered. Another Shui Biao gang disciple died under Lin Shu Shenong's shovel. After a lot of fighting, he had nearly 10,000 points. But at this moment, his energy and soul power were all exhausted. The physical body is extremely tired, even when standing, it is swaying. Suddenly, he felt a chill in his heart. There was a bang. His whole body was blown away, smashed through several walls, caused a collapse, and was buried under rubble. Haha, the SSS level water talent that appears once in 3,000 years can't withstand the power of this Rakshasa's axe. A burly man laughed wildly with two large axes on his shoulders. One of the three great Rakshasa of the Shui Biao gang, the Rakshasa Tuaxe. In terms of physical body and strength, he is definitely the head of the three great Rakshasa. According to legend, he was extremely powerful when he was 10 years old. He once destroyed a 500-pound black bear with one punch and was hailed as a powerful boy in the village. His pupils constricted. That's because Lin Shu slowly stood up in the pile of rubble. His forehead was injured, his entire right arm was vertical, and blood was constantly flowing. If he hadn't reacted quickly and used the Shenong shovel to counterattack just now, he might have died long ago. The rumored axe-slaying Rakshasa is nothing more than that. His right arm was crippled, there were many fractures in his body, and his whole body was in pain, but Lin Shu still looked fearless and mocked. Good boy, it seems that I underestimated you. The furious axe-slaying Rakshasa suddenly had veins all over his body, like a wild beast that was about to lose control. System. Exchange for 89 points of physical fitness. The redemption is successful. 8,900 points are consumed, and the host's physical value is 130 points. 8 gates of Dunjia. The first gate, open the door. Boom. As soon as Lin Shu opened his mouth, a stream of green steam burst out from his body. The physical fitness value of 130 points instantly doubled to 260 points. The broken bones of the crippled right arm and chest were strangely reconnected. With the ability of the 8 gates of Dunjia, every time one is opened, the physical value will be doubled, and the injury will be recovered quickly as if taking a special medicine. Second door. Close the door and open it. The momentum skyrocketed again, and the physical fitness value exceeded 520 points. The third door. The door to life is open. The fourth door. The injury door opens. The fifth door. Duman opens. Boom. Green steam shot straight into the sky, and even the barrier on the sky was shaken, as if it was about to break through. As soon as Duman opened, his physique value soared to 4,160 points. Suddenly, an inhuman pain hit him, making his face look hideous, as if he was being crushed by a giant mountain. Every bone and every piece of flesh and blood in the body seemed to be roaring. However, he did not stop there, but instead clenched his fists with both hands and shouted angrily, "The sixth door, Jingmun is open." Boom, click, astonishing momentum, erupting like a volcano. With his feet as the center, the earth cracked within a radius of tens of meters. Just the terrifying pressure and wind and waves destroyed a large group of Blood Biao gang disciples and shadow slaves. What's going on with the green gas on this kid? Axe-slaying Rakshasa's heart skipped a beat. Feeling the huge pressure, my forehead was covered with sweat, and even the hands holding the axe were shaking. Just pretending to be a ghost. No matter how evil this boy Lin is, he is just a little brat who has only awakened his talent for a few days. Do I, the majestic axe-slayer Rakshasa, be afraid of him? With this thought in mind, he suppressed the fear in his heart. He took a deep breath and roared, "Crush mountains and rivers with an axe." He raised his two axes high and struck in a condescending manner. Bang! It's like the sound of metal colliding, making people's eardrums hurt. The two giant axes in the hands of axe-slaying Rakshasa actually stopped in midair, and in front of him there was a person wrapped in green steam, existing like a god and demon. After opening Duman, Lin Shu's physique increased from the initial 130 points to 8,320 points. Not only was he as fast as lightning, but he also held the heavy, sharp axe blade of Rakshasa with his bare hands. Click! He exerted slight force with his hands, and the axe blade shattered inch by inch. What? No, this is absolutely impossible. Axe Slaughter Rakshasa screamed in horror and despair, sending chills down his spine. You must know that his giant axe is not an extraordinary weapon, but an earth-level spiritual weapon. Forged from black iron and diamond, and then fused with 10,000-degree flames, a single axe weighs 800 kilograms. But now he was pinched hard. Call out! Green light flashed in shock, and his legs were thrown out like 100,000 kilograms of divine whip. There was an explosion, and a shrill blood flower appeared, and the headless body of Rakshasa Axe Slaughter fell in the blood pool. Ah! He kicked the head of Rakshasa Axe Slayer, the green demon god. The boss is bad, he found us. It's over, I'm completely barbecue, I haven't married a wife yet. The three TNU brothers who were hiding in the utility room and peeking in were instantly frightened to the point of peeing. When they came into contact with the green thunder light gaze, their minds fell completely into despair and they fell to the ground paralyzed. Kill a mid-level 5th level martial sect and gain 800 points. 8,888 points in the early stage of Wuzong, 800 points in the middle stage of Wuzong. Lin Shu murmured to himself. Call out! Green light flashed, and he disappeared from where he was in an instant. The astonishing force made a pit half a meter deep and 2 meters wide on the ground. The axe-slaying Rakshasa boss was killed. Even the 5th level strengthening martial arts sect will never have such power. Run away quickly, this Lin is not a human being, but a monster in disguise. Some people screamed and ran away in panic. Boom, boom. Bang bang, bang bang. The massacre continued, and wherever Lin Shu, who opened the 6th gate, passed by, houses collapsed and blood mist filled the air. Some 2nd and 3rd level warriors were instantly shattered into pieces just by the green steam erupting from his body. And his rampant massacre quickly aroused the vigilance of the Shui Biao gang leader, Sword Rakshasa, and Flame Demon Rakshasa. Impossible, there is such a powerful person hidden in Shangguan Mansion. Who is this guy? Because they were entangled in green steam, no one noticed Lin Shu's true identity. Not to mention them, even Mr. Shangguan, Wan Miaoyan and others were completely shocked. I will deal with this person, the gang leader. The flame demon Rakshasa opened his hands, and the billowing flames burned in the air to form a giant fire python of tens of meters. No matter who you are, just be destroyed. Roar! The giant fire python roared, containing monstrous flames, and rushed towards Lin Shu, completely engulfing him. The astonishing temperature made nothingness distort. Just when everyone thought that the green weirdo had been burned out, the sea of fire broke through, and a green light was as powerful as a rocket and a rainbow. Boom! With an explosion, the entire chest of Flame Demon Rakshasa was penetrated. Through the huge bloody hole, one could see that a house behind him had also been bombed. The famous Flame Demon Rakshasa is dead. Things happened so fast that everyone who saw this scene was filled with astonishment. This is pure physical power. This guy is not only a strengthening warrior, but also a body refiner. The leader of the Shui Biao gang shouted anxiously. Although his strength is several times stronger than the Flame Demon Rakshasa. But now there is still an inexplicable feeling of fear in my heart. Click! Suddenly there was a cracking sound in the void. I saw that the previously indestructible barrier now had a crack, and it was expanding rapidly. What on earth is that man named Fan doing? The red-robed messenger was worried. Of course, he didn't think his partner had been killed. Because warriors of the space system can easily escape even if they face enemies that are much stronger than themselves. Outside the palace, seeing that cracks had appeared in the barrier, Manager Zhang shouted excitedly, "Go on, break the barrier with all your strength." Boom, boom, the whole street suddenly shook and a burst of sand and dust was thrown up. Look, the city defense army is coming. Wow, the latest high-tech electromagnetic heavy armor tank, this is so handsome. It is said that this kind of tank is driven by both electromagnetic force and spiritual force, and its power is extremely amazing. The power of one shot is enough to blow up a hill. The crowd was buzzing with excitement. Behind the magnetic heavy armor tank is a group of soldiers with strict discipline and decisive killing. They wore armor, carried swords and guns on their backs, and were as powerful as a rainbow. The most shocking thing is that their cultivation level is at least level 3 warriors. It's too late, Manager Zhang. A man with one arm and a black beard said seriously. Zhongling City Guard General Zhao Tiangong is the brother of the city lord Zhao Tiangba. The spiritual power value is 99,999, the peak of the 6th level martial master. Hurry, break this barrier quickly. Manager Zhang urged like an ant in a hot nest. Bold, who are you? How dare you be an enemy of our divine lotus sect? The red-robed messenger roared. The person who will take your life. Lin Shu said coldly, turning into a green light and charging out. Arrogant, the red-robed messenger looked disdainfully, raised his hand and waved nearly 100 shadow slaves towards him. Bang, bang, Lin Shu was like a god of war, every punch and kick seemed to contain tens of thousands of kilograms of power. In just an instant, all the attacking shadow slaves were killed. Such a violent fighting style made the red-robed messenger's pupils shrink. But there is still no fear in my heart. That's because, as a red-robed messenger, he still has some means to save his life. It's just that this life-saving method consumes life every time it is used. Therefore, unless life is threatened, it will not be used easily. Boom! Suddenly, the entire Shangguan mansion was shocked. Great, the barrier is about to be broken. It must be someone from Tianling Pavilion and the city guarding army. We are finally saved. Looking at the cracks that seemed to be a barrier that could be broken at any time, the Shangguan family members whose blood was splattered on the battlefield looked excited and their eyes were red. Oops, the barrier can't hold on any longer. The red-robed messenger said something bad in his heart. Once someone from outside attacks, even if he has 3 heads and 6 arms, he will not be able to escape death. The situation has changed, retreat. He yelled urgently, pinching a jade pendant in his hand, and the black hole from before appeared again on the ground. Suddenly, he seemed to have something in mind and took a breath at a pile of rubble. Call out. When everyone came to their senses, a beautiful figure had his neck pinched. This person is Yuyao. No, they want to escape. Miss Yuyao has been kidnapped, please save her. Someone exclaimed. The head of Shangguan's old family noticed and wanted to step forward to rescue him, but was forced back by a sword energy from Dao Rakshasa. The golden light dissipated and the huge golden Buddha disappeared. It was obvious that his spiritual power was also exhausted. The remaining members of the Shui Biao gang jumped into the black hole one after another and left, with hatred and unwillingness written on their faces. At this moment, the operation failed to silence everyone in Shangguan Mansion. From now on, people like myself will be reduced to street rats and will no longer be able to live in this city as brightly as before. Let me go. Yuyao was unable to resist at all and could only glare angrily. Miss Yuyao, don't panic. I am here to save you on the orders of the Pope. With your amazing talent, you will be trained by our sect and you will have a bright future. The red-robed messenger said with a smile. He turned to look at the leader of the Shuibiao gang. Where is the boy who awakened the SSS water talent? Why is he missing? It's just an ant. 9 times out of 10, he died in the chaos just now. The leader of the Shui Biao gang said disapprovingly. That's a person personally appointed by the Pope. He wants to be seen alive and dead. The red-robed messenger was a little displeased. The leader of the Shui Biao gang felt a shiver in his heart, but he only promised, this is a subordinate who has neglected his duty. Please punish him severely, Lord Red Envoy. That's it. The barrier is about to be broken. Let's retreat first. His figure flashed and landed on the black hole, and his body slowly sank. Hateful. Everyone gnashed their teeth and could only watch him take the people away, but they were unable to do anything. Yu Yao, who used to be proud and as beautiful as an iceberg, now looked at everyone with a face full of fear, despair and begging. Finally, she set her sights on the mysterious man wrapped in green steam. It's really troublesome, Lin Shu complained in his heart, and his body was shot out like a cannonball. Not his holy mother. It was the Shenlian sect's despicable behavior that he really couldn't stand. If this woman is taken away, she will be forcibly brainwashed and trained into a killing machine. I'm afraid it will cause him a lot of trouble. After all, the Divine Lotus sect had already given him a death order. You want to save her. You are overestimating your own capabilities. The red-robed messenger, half of his body disappearing into the black hole, looked disdainful and waved his left hand lightly. Those shadow slaves who wanted to rush into the black hole rushed into Lin Shu as if they were crazy. Suddenly, Lin Shu seemed to notice something and felt his heart tremble. I saw that the bodies of these shadow slaves suddenly swelled up, and a violent aura filled their bodies. In an instant, two words came to his mind: self-destruct. Boom, boom, an astonishing roar echoed through the entire Shangguan mansion, and Lin Shu was swallowed whole. Whoever you are, I have written this down. After I go back and report to the Pope, there will be no place for you in the world from now on. Just wait for the endless pursuit from our Divine Lotus sect. Ha ha. Seeing Lin Shu buried in the explosion, the red-robed messenger laughed arrogantly. As his head disappeared into the black hole, he and the kidnapped Yu Yao disappeared into the Shangguan mansion. Regarding this, Mr. Shangguan, Wan Miaoyan and others looked angry and sad. Bang! The stunning color steam spurted out wildly, scattering the remaining power of the explosion. Even though many slaves self-destructed, Lin Shu was still alive. But compared to before, not only the green vapor but also the power on his body were much weaker. Careless. He never thought that the other party could control the shadow slave to self-destruct, which was really a tricky ability. But do you think you can leave like this? Looking at the black hole that was about to be completely closed, his pupils flashed with a cold light. The system redeems 20 points of spiritual power. Ding. Redemption successful. Consumption of 2,000 points. Balance of 2,935 points. Name: Lin Shu. Age: 19. Level: 3. Energy: 80. Soul: 38. Constitution: 130. Fugue. Suddenly, he disappeared from where he was. Ah, where are the people? What's going on? Is he not only a reinforcement type, but also a space type? Could it be him? Wan Miaoyan and Shangguan Wuliang seemed to have thought of something, their eyes widened with disbelief on their faces. In the space tunnel, this time, more than half of my gang was killed or injured, and my identity was exposed. I can no longer stay in Zhongling City. Dao Luasha said with a troubled expression. The three great Rakshasa are famous in Zhongling, but now they are the only ones left. His heart was extremely complicated, with anger, resentment, and sadness. At this moment, the leader of the Shui Biao gang also felt a little regretful. At the beginning, he thought he would just silence everyone in Shangguan Mansion and then escape from the scene with the help of black hole power. So even if Tianling Pavilion and the City Lord's mansion knew that it was the Shenlian sect, they would not think that the Shui Biao gang was involved. But I didn't expect that this operation would be such a failure. Humph, it's just a small Zhongling city. Just abandon it. Don't worry, since the Shui Biao gang has joined our religion, we will never treat you badly. After you enter the religion, you will be able to obtain our religion's supreme forbidden technique. The red-robed messenger said. Swastika unlocks the forbidden technique. The leader of Shui Biao gang and Dao Luasha looked very excited when they heard this. This is the forbidden technique they dream of. By the way, Envoy Li Hong, where is Envoy Fan Hong? Could he be? Dao Luasha hesitated. With his strength and means, unless Zhao Tianba comes in person, no one in the entire Zhongling city can keep him. The red-robed messenger said. Then how could Shangguan Wuliang escape? Asked the leader of the Shui Biao gang. The red-robed envoy gritted his teeth and said, this unreliable guy, I must study him carefully. As soon as he finished speaking, his heart suddenly buzzed, and an unprecedented sense of danger came over him. Kai. At this moment, 5 green claw lights appeared out of thin air and struck the back of his head. There was a pop of blood, and a severed arm fell. "Ah, my arm!" The red-robed messenger screamed heartbreakingly, his eyes filled with horror. If he hadn't reacted quickly, he would have been killed. "No, it's the green demon god. This is a dark tunnel, how can he chase me?" Faced with Lin Shu's sudden appearance, everyone was frightened. Averted, Lin Shu was disappointed. The ability of Bamandunjia was rapidly declining, and he did not dare to fight at all. While everyone was distracted, a flash appeared in front of the paralyzed Di Yuyao and picked her up. The divine movement was activated again and disappeared in front of everyone in an instant. Strengthening type, body refining monk, special type of space talent. Who is he? The red-robed messenger surnamed Li muttered in confusion as he watched the 2 disappearing people. Who is he here to save me? Strange. How does this person's figure and facial contour look like a gangster named Lin? Looking at the person in front of her, Yuyao felt familiar. Impossible. That guy awakened the natural water talent, and the power this person showed was obviously the strengthening system. What's more, that fool only cares about Wan Miaoyan, how could he come to save me? This idea was instantly dismissed by her. When she was at her most desperate and helpless, the other party appeared like a god. At this moment, she felt an indescribable emotion in her heart. She stretched out her hand to touch the blurry face and see the other person's true appearance. But after being hit by the pulling powder, she fell into a coma after reaching halfway out her hand. "Come on to me. Don't let a single thief go. The members of the evil cult will be killed without mercy." As soon as the barrier was broken, Guan Shizhong and Zhao Tiangong rushed into the Shengguan mansion with a group of hands. Looking at the dilapidated house with piles of corpses, everyone was filled with anger. Those are living human lives. Now they are lying in a pool of blood. What's going on? Evil disciples of the Divine Lotus sect. Everyone feels bad. Hurry. Save my cousin, she was kidnapped. Zhou Hong was not dead, she hid and escaped. Or maybe it's because her talent has not yet been awakened and her combat power is too weak, so she is ignored. It's my fault that I can't save Miss Yuyao. Shengguan Wuliang said guiltily. What? Yu Yetu has been robbed. What about Lin Shu? Where are the others? Guan Shizhong shouted anxiously. This. Wan Miaoyan, Shengguan Wuliang and others looked at each other and immediately shook their heads. Could it be? Seeing this, Manager Zong's heart suddenly tightened. Quack, quack, countless black crows circled in the sky. The crow on the black crow's shoulder had a ray of light flashing in its eyes. Suddenly, Black Crow looked overjoyed. Young Master Lin and Young Master Yuyao have been found. They are still alive. He flew directly into the air and landed in a collapsed house, where a beautiful figure lay. On a broken roof 100 meters away, there was a flesh and blood figure. Ah! She wasn't kidnapped. The old housekeeper of the Shengguan family looked incredulous, knowing that he had seen it with his own eyes. Mr. Shengguan and Wan Miaoyan couldn't help but gasp when they looked at the miserable Lin Shu. Time flies, 3 days pass. But the storm caused by the attack on Shengguan's house is still spreading. The reason why the Shengguan family was able to survive this crisis is because of the green steam demon god. I heard that this man has devil horns on his head and his whole body is covered with indestructible scales. He can easily kill a 5th-level martial sect with one punch. That's wrong. Why did I hear that this person is a member of the ancient barbarian tribe? The green steam demon god is famous all over the world, but no one has seen his true appearance. Lin Shu slowly opened his eyes and found himself lying in an instrument full of wood vitality. Mr. Lin, you finally woke up. I'm going to report to the supervisor. A young female nurse came in and was overjoyed when she saw him. Boy Lin, you finally woke up. After receiving the news, Manager Zhang rushed over in a hurry, with excitement written on his face. Hey ya, Xiao Lao and others also came with him. Ah, your injuries are not healed. Mr. Xiao exclaimed when he saw Lin Shu forcibly removing the iron frame and ointment from his body. But the next second, everyone was completely dumbfounded. The skin on Lin Shu's body was intact, full of luster, and the lines were perfect. There was no sign of any injury. After moving his neck and shoulders, he jumped on the spot like a spring, looking like he had too much energy. My current body can open the first 4 doors at will. If I open the 5th or 6th door, it will be overloaded. He thought to himself. After rescuing Yuyao that day, the power of 8-gate Dunjia happened to be exhausted. Not only was he unable to move, but he was also hit by a terrifying pain. Even with his extraordinary willpower, he fainted. How is this possible? Manager Zhang looked in disbelief. 3 days ago, they found the boy with almost all his bones broken and all his internal organs injured. Even the people from the medical department said that it would take at least a month of rest to fully recover. Is it so good now? Wrong. Why did Lin Shu make him feel more energetic than before? What a medical miracle. Mr. Lin's vitality is very powerful, and his ability to regenerate cells and bones in his body is hundreds of times stronger than that of ordinary people. A little old man with a goat's white beard and glasses sighed. Judging from his attire, he is obviously a doctor. 2 hours later, Lin Shu learned some information from Guanxi Zhang. In that battle, the Shangguan family suffered heavy losses. The destruction of the mansion is secondary, after all, these are just some fixed assets. But hundreds of lives have been lost and they will never come back. Especially among the 6 elders of the Shangguan family, only one was rescued. However, due to the forceful exercise after being hit by Po Ling powder, the meridians and spiritual whirlpools were severely damaged, and his cultivation level dropped from the peak of the 5th level martial arts to the 4th level realm. The only good news is that Mr. Shangguan has gained some insights after this calamity and hopes to break through to the king of martial realm. After that day, Tianling Pavilion and the city guard army began to search the whole city to capture the remnants of the Shenlian sect and the Shui Biao gang. But these guys are like disappearing into the sea and disappearing from the world. Do you know the green steam demon god? Manager Zhang suddenly asked. He stared at Lin Shu with venomous eyes, as if he wanted to get some clues from the slight expression on his face. Green steam demon god. Lin Shu looked stunned. Is this kid really unaware? Manager Zhang thought to himself. That day at Shangguan's house, many people witnessed the green steam demon god killing everyone in all directions, slaughtering the axe Rakshasa, and the flame demon Rakshasa died in his hands. Not only that, he also sneaked into the black tunnel to rescue Miss Yuyao. Don't you have any impression at all? Manager Zhang continued to ask without giving up. In the past few days, he had looked through all the information in China, but could not find any information about the awakened person with this kind of talent. But the more this happened, the more curious he became, wanting to know who this green demon god was. The green demon god he mentioned, doesn't it mean me who has opened the 8 gates of Dunjia? Lin Shu thought to himself. I didn't see it. He shook his head in denial, but he was making calculations in his heart. It's hard to say for others. But Mr. Shangguan and Wan Miaoyan will definitely notice it. But judging from Guanxi Zhang's reaction, the two of them probably didn't reveal anything. This kid's eyes are flickering. What on earth is he planning? Wait a minute, could it be that his chaotic rootless water has awakened some attribute that can strengthen the physical body? It can even travel through space. Hiss. At the thought of this, Manager Zhang took a deep breath. Because if this is really the case, then the ability of the chaos rootless water is simply too unbelievable. You can survive this time, luck accounts for a large part. For your safety, let's send someone to protect you 24 hours a day. Manager Zhang said. Don't worry about it, Lin Shu decisively refused. It's a matter of your life and death. Aren't you afraid that those from the Shenlian sect will attack you again? The goddess of luck will not always be attached to you. Manager Zhang looked serious. My fate is up to me, Lin Shu said domineeringly. It seems that I guessed right, this guy is the so-called green demon god. Otherwise, how could he be so calm after such an attack and killing? That's it, since he doesn't admit it, let him go. Guanxi Zhang, who knew Lin Shu's character well, sighed helplessly in his heart. You take this token and input your spiritual power into it when you are in danger. It can save your life. Other than those who have this order, the police station and the city guard military are not qualified to detain you or interrogate you. Manager Zhang took out a black token from his arms. I don't know what material the token was made of. It was extremely heavy in my hand and gave me a unique feeling. It feels as if it is alive. So awesome. Lin Shu was shocked. But the next second he frowned and handed the token back and said, I told you. I'm not a hero, and I don't want to be a hero. Don't worry. Although this is a special order from Tianling Pavilion, it will not force you to do anything. Tell you the truth. This is what the Deputy Pavilion Master meant. He only asked me to tell you one thing. You are Chinese. Hearing this, Lin Shu fell silent. He didn't expect that he would alert the Deputy Master of Tianling Pavilion. It is said that Tianling Pavilion has 3 major pavilion masters, 1 chief and 2 deputy. The main master of the pavilion has been in seclusion all year round, and only a few people have seen him. The 2 deputy pavilion masters, one Jingwu and the other Jingwen, are both at the saint level. I just don't know which token to give him. Although I am not a hero. But I will only be a Chinese in this life. Lin Shu did not refuse this time. Seeing this, Manager Zhang felt a little relieved. By the way, how is she doing now? Lin Shu continued to ask. Are you asking President Wan of the Wanbao Chamber of Commerce, or that little girl from the Yu family? Manager Zhang asked jokingly. I'm not familiar with them. Lin Shu shrugged. This guy is really good at pretending. Manager Zhang muttered in his heart. President Wan is fine. He held a press conference yesterday. As for Xiao Nizi named Yu, she is no longer in Zhongling City and has gone to Tianwang Martial Arts School. If the information is correct, it should be that I will formally worship one of the 10 saints, Saint Ice and Snow, as my disciple. I almost forgot. I heard that she has been inquiring about the green demon god since she woke up. She must have fallen in love. After all, beauties love heroes. Manager Zhang smiled at Lin Shu with a deep smile. Puff. Lin Shu, who was drinking water, immediately sprayed Guanxi Zhang in the face. You brat. The latter was furious, his face as ugly as a dead rat. This is purely an accident. Lin Shu laughed. He immediately changed the subject. I haven't heard from you for 3 days. I'll call home first to report that you're safe. He unplugged the charging cable and turned on the phone. When the phone was turned on, dozens of unknown phone numbers were displayed. Fatty Wang Sikong accounted for more than 30 of them alone. Just when he was about to call, his little sister suddenly sent him a video to answer the call. Looking at his little sister's profile picture, he couldn't help but smile. But as soon as the video was connected, the smile on his face disappeared instantly, replaced by endless coldness. Brother, please don't come, please don't come. At the other end of the video, Yi Shui was lying on the ground with her hands and feet tied, crying in terror and despair. Snap, snap, ah, ah. A spiked whip was thrown wildly at her body, causing her flesh and blood to burst, and she kept screaming. Stop, Lin Shu yelled, his eyes bloodshot. The screen shook, and a middle-aged man with a black dragon head tattooed on the left side of his face appeared in the camera. Qinglong Gang, Black Dragon Protector. The brat finally found you. If you want to save your sister, come to the Qinglong Gang alone tonight, otherwise I will collect the body for you. Oh, your sister seems to be a young girl. You should come here early. Our Qinglong Gang is all men, haha. The Black Dragon Protector at the end of the video laughed arrogantly, and then the video was interrupted. Qing Long Gang. Lin Shu roared with scarlet eyes, and a terrifying murderous intention burst out from his body. Bang bang, click. The door glass was broken and cracks appeared on the wall. The Qinglong Gang is so brave. They dare to threaten Mr. Lin's family. My subordinates will summon troops to trample it to the ground. Mr. Xiao was very angry. Hey, what a big mistake. If some people had been arranged around Yi Shui and Yi Yi before, what happened today would not have happened. In this way, the boy Lin will definitely be grateful to Tianling Pavilion, and it will also enhance his sense of belonging to the country. At this time, Manager Zhang felt extremely regretful. Sometimes this kid looks like he's smiling and doesn't care, but he's actually quite stubborn. The people from the Qinglong Gang have touched his bottom line, and he has to avenge himself. What, Manager Zhang, are you not confused? That's one of the 5 gangs in Zhongling. You asked him, a high school senior who has just awakened his talent, to go to an appointment alone. You are undoubtedly asking for your own death. Mr. Xiao exclaimed, looking at his superior in disbelief. Although the Qinglong Gang is the weakest among the 5 gangs, it is still a gang of thousands. Gang leader Liu Qijiao's cultivation level reached the 5th level of peak martial arts as early as a year ago, and now he may have reached the 6th level of martial arts. Under it, there are 7 guardians. The weakest person in cultivation is also a 4th level warrior with a spiritual power value of over 100. No matter how evil that boy Lin is, he can't possibly compete with a gang on his own. Ha, your dog is blind. Manager Zhang frowned angrily. My subordinate made a mistake, Mr. Xiao said with excitement. His forehead was covered with sweat. Just wait and see the good show. That kid is not as simple as you think. Even the manager in charge can only see through him. Manager Zhang said with profound meaning. Only see through 3 points. Hearing this, Mr. Xiao was shocked and had a strange idea. That is, what Lin Shu awakened was not the 3S talent, but the 5S and 10S. But as soon as the idea came up, he dismissed it. Because since the revival of spiritual energy, the highest talent in the world is only 3S level. Talents above 3S are rumored to be God-level talents, and are only recorded in some ancient books. But just in case, you have to be prepared, Manager Zhang said seriously. Zhongling Dongcheng, 6 o'clock in the evening. Woohoo, woohoo. A helicopter flew across the void, causing a gust of wind and waves that frightened all the birds away. A figure jumped from a height of tens of meters and landed steadily on the ground. Whoosh! The boy disappeared from his place in an instant. On the banks of the Tanjiang River, many fishing friends gathered in a certain area. It bit the hook again. Haha, it's a big crucian carp. An old man in his 60s said excitedly. Guangbo's performance is good today. Sell me 2 at a bargain price and go back to the Tigress. Otherwise, I'm afraid I won't be able to get out tomorrow if I go back empty-handed. A young man said with some envy. Hey, young man, you are so tall and tall, are you still afraid of your wife? Old Li too, you are not a bad guy. That day you agreed that we would never come home until we were drunk. However, your tigress found out and was imprisoned for half a year. Really, why don't I remember? Pretend, keep pretending. At this moment, a tall figure slowly walked towards the crowd. The boy looks about 18 or 19, with a handsome face. But at this moment, his face gave people a feeling of incomparable indifference. In particular, there was no emotion in his eyes, which was really weird. With a splash, the young man jumped into the river. Ah, no, someone jumped into the river and committed suicide. Whoever knows how to swim, come and save me. The young man's sudden behavior frightened all the fishermen. Some people who could swim decisively stepped into it to save people. How is it? Where are the people? The water in that place was too deep and fast, and he was afraid that something was in danger. Hey, what a good young man he was and then died. What a pity for his family. Young people nowadays do things too impulsively. Is it possible that this boy was dumped by his girlfriend and couldn't think about it for a while? In my opinion, it should be that the awakening talent was not ideal a few days ago, so I committed suicide. Everyone started talking and quickly called the police. There is a colorless light curtain under the river. Lin Shu sat cross-legged with his eyes closed, and practiced the seal technique with his hands. The system exchanges 20 energy points. Successful redemption, consumption of 2,000 points, balance of 935 points, energy value 80 plus 20, level 4. Bang! As the spiritual power value increases to 100, breaking through the 4th level warrior, the water-breathing god level skill automatically operates. A magical scene happened. Lin Shu's body was like a whirlpool, constantly absorbing river water from all directions. The fish and shrimp were frightened and fled in panic. If anyone were here, their eyes would widen, and their minds would feel like they were struck by divine thunder. I saw that the pores on his body were open, breathing in the water, and greedily devouring the energy in the river. Although the energy contained in every 100 kilograms of water is so weak that it can be directly ignored, the water in this river does not stop flowing. 10 meters, 100 meters, 1,000 meters. The power of faint starlight continued to gather, causing Lin Shu's whole body to emit a unique aura. Suddenly his eyes opened and he shot 2 stunning glances. Through the water, he rushed directly to the darkening sky. God-level Kung Fu, breathing of water, breaking through to the 2nd level. On the banks of the river, more and more people gathered. Look, what is that? Someone backed away in fear. Boom, boom. In the center of the river, a huge whirlpool is like a black hole that wants to swallow everything. Immediately, in the shocked eyes of everyone, the river rose into the sky, as if it wanted to flood all directions. No, the river demon has awakened. Run away. I don't know who screamed, and the crowd turned pale and fled in panic. That group of fishermen also abandoned equipment worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. Hundreds of meters in the air, at the top of the raging river, Lin Shu stood proudly like the ancient god of water, with a unique mark shining on his forehead. After absorbing the energy of the river water, his spiritual power reached an astonishing breakthrough, reaching 300 points. And this is also the power of breath of water. Just imagine if you practice in the boundless sea and plunder the energy contained in it. Then his cultivation speed will definitely reach a terrifying level. Even though night fell, Lin Shu, who had the Sharingan, could still clearly see the building 2 kilometers away. I'm coming, Green Gang Dragon. Bang! He waved his right hand, and the vast water beneath him rushed straight away. Wherever he passed, whether it was the water in the fish tank in the house or the water in the bucket in the vegetable garden, it rose up into the sky as if hearing a call and merged with the rolling river. Come, let's all toast to the Black Dragon Protector. I wish you an indestructible body and can cultivate to the state of great success as soon as possible. In the outer hall, a large group of people drank strong drinks, smoked cigarettes, ate meat, and played with the women around them. These women were gorgeous, and some had faces of fear and despair. Black Dragon Protector, do you think Lin Shu will come? A young man who was 70% drunk asked with a smile. HMPH. If you kill my cousin, you will cut him into pieces even if you are in the ends of the world. The Black Dragon Protector said with cruel eyes. If he doesn't come, I will take care of his little sister first, and then his adoptive mother. Jia, that woman named Yi was famous as Beauty Yi back then. Everyone laughed wildly. At this moment, a cold voice echoed through the entire Qinglong gang, Black Dragon Protector, get out of here. Whoever screams outside has eaten the heart of a bear and the courage of a leopard. Is it possible that Lin Shu is here? Many people were alarmed and showed ferocious looks. The Black Dragon Protector's face was extremely gloomy, as if he wanted to drip water. Ever since he joined the Qinglong gang and became one of the 7 guardians, has anyone ever shouted at him like this? It's just a little brat. Why do you need to do it yourself, boss? Wait for the younger one to catch him. A yellow-haired man said with a relaxed expression. Lightning flashed under his feet and he rushed out quickly. Jia, Ming has a lightning talent in the natural system. He can run at a top speed of 100 kilometers per hour. With him, a mere high school student can easily handle it. Someone joked. When his subordinates captured the boy Lin, he wanted him to witness him riding on his little sister. It would be a great feeling. The anger on the Black Dragon Protector's face disappeared, replaced by that playful smile. The credit was taken away by that kid again. Ha. Who asked you to drink so much wine? Brother, you have fired so many times, your guns and feet are weak, and you still want to take the credit. Come on, drink more. Some people are regretful, some are jealous, and some are ridiculing. Little did he know that death had come. Lei Guang came quickly, and the young man named Ming had appeared outside. When he raised his head, the arrogance on his face disappeared instantly, revealing a look of horror. Although the darkness was filled with mist, with the help of moonlight and lights, he could still see the huge billowing waves rolling in above the nothingness. Ah, the river demon is coming! He screamed, falling into extreme panic. He used his talent to the extreme and rushed into the house as if he were riding 2 thunder wheels. Lin Shu did not stop him. I saw the mark on his forehead becoming more and more mysterious, intertwined with green and blue lights, and his hands were slowly raised high. Hong hong, hong hong. The river water that gathered under his control separated and completely surrounded the entire Qinglong gang, as if it had turned into a huge water barrier. Oh my god, what on earth does this river monster want to do? Good guy, does it have a grudge against the Qinglong gang? There seems to be a figure in the flood. It's strange. This person looks like the young man who just jumped into the river and committed suicide. Wow, could it be that it's not the river monster that's causing the trouble, but that kid's talent that caused such a flood? A warrior who can control river water in this way must have at least a 6th order martial lord level cultivation, and his natural water talent must also reach SS level. I heard that Lin Shu, adopted by the Yi family, has awakened his SSS level natural water talent. Will he? No, this is impossible. Some citizens who were chasing after him from Tanjiang were shocked by the scene before them. Because Zhongling has never seen such scenery for hundreds of years. Some reporters and anchors with bad noses also rushed over after learning the news. Rao Wu, Rao Wu. The siren sounded loudly, and more people were alerted. On the highway, a dozen police cars from the patrol house came quickly. Ha! Ha! Suddenly, a strong wind came. It was a huge crow with several people standing on its back. Soon, all the police cars retreated. Hiss! Looking at the raging river water circling like a giant dragon, Xiao Laoqing couldn't help but take a breath of air. Is this really what Lin Shu did? He asked with a look of disbelief on his face, suspecting that he was dreaming. Although the tall black crow didn't speak, he was still feeling a storm in his heart. Although I didn't know that Manager Zhang was completely dumbfounded at this moment, his forehead was covered with sweat and his heart was beating wildly. Fortunately, this boy Lin is not a demon or a divine lotus cultist. Otherwise, the consequences will be disastrous. Even at all costs, he will strangle it in the cradle. Because the talent and strength shown by this boy are simply terrifying. Throughout human history, no one can compare with it. Boss, it's not good, the river demon, it's coming. Brother Ah Ming rushed into the outer hall and yelled, without a trace of blood on his face. What, river demon, you must have drunk too much. Aren't you going to capture that boy Lin? Where are the people? You demon, don't be afraid of strangers. This is in Zhongling City. Do you think you are in the Black Demon Forest or in a forbidden land outside the territory? Everyone sneered at Ah Ming's words. The Black Dragon Protector also frowned. You can't help me, go. I want to see where the river monster dares to come to our Qinglong gang to run wild. Just when he was about to go out to take a look at the so-called river demon, a flash of inspiration flashed, and a young man with cold eyes blocked his path. His heart froze and he jumped back quickly. Hand over my sister and keep your whole body, Lin Shu said in a calm voice. But the murderous intent emanating from his body made everyone in the Qinglong gang who had been walking on the tip of a knife feel a chill in their spines. It's you. After seeing Lin Shu's appearance clearly, the Black Dragon Protector's pupils shrank suddenly. The opponent's speed was too fast just now, and he couldn't see any trace of it. It's like it appeared out of thin air, or it was already there. But when he thought that the boy in front of him was just a senior high school student who had just awakened his talent, the fear and uneasiness in his heart disappeared instantly. How dare you dare to speak so brazenly when you join our Qinglong gang alone? I don't know how high the sky is. Boom, his momentum exploded, and his clothes were shattered, revealing a strong body. Then he was covered in golden light, giving him a feeling of indestructibility like a golden man. Boss is extremely brave. With his talent in the strengthening system and his indestructible body, he is invulnerable to swords and guns. A younger brother said with a flattering smile. I would like to ask you, did you kill my cousin? After the burst of power, the Black Dragon Protector's long hair flew and he stared at Lin Shu fiercely and shouted. If you are referring to the person who attacked me in Zhexiang Tower, then that was him. Lin Shu said calmly without sadness or joy. Ah, beast. The Black Dragon Protector was furious. Boom, the metal-like body rushed straight towards Lin Shu like a cannonball. Jia, with the strength of the boss, one punch is enough to crush this kid to pieces. It's too cheap to kill him like this. He needs to be tortured. I like this guy's handsomeness the most. Please let me play with him for a few days and develop it for him. A 2-meter tall, wretched-looking super strong man licked his tongue. The others shuddered when they heard this and subconsciously stepped back. Facing the attack of the Black Dragon Protector, Lin Shu remained calm. Whoosh! Several long green whips struck quickly, wrapping around the hands, feet, and neck of the Black Dragon Protector, and suspended him in midair to write a big character. What the hell is this? No, the boss was caught. Water tentacles, how is this possible? Things happened so fast that when everyone came to their senses, they looked stunned and strongly disbelieving. Let go of this protector. The Black Dragon Protector was shocked and angry, and the strengthening talent in his body was activated. Visible to the naked eye, bloodlines began to spread from his heart. The originally dazzling golden body gained a violent and bloodthirsty aura. "Open it for me," he growled with a ferocious expression. But the next moment he was completely frightened and fell into despair. The power he was so proud of was like a stone cow sinking into the sea in front of these strange green water tentacles, unable to stir up any waves. "I gave you the opportunity," Lin Shu said calmly, slowly raising his right hand. Gulu, gulu. A water balloon with a diameter of 10 meters flew from the outside, turned blue in an instant and condensed into thousands of water arrows. Hiss. These blue water arrows were just suspended in midair, emitting an unparalleled terrifying cold air. It makes people feel horrified, desperate and suffocated. How is it possible with such a cold breath? Don't panic, everyone. Even if he really awakens his SSS water talent, he is still just a young boy. Don't hold back, kill him together. After being shocked, everyone in the Qinglong gang suppressed their fear and killed Lin Shu. Random task trigger. Option 1. Destroy the Qinglong gang and reward a blind box that awakens the chaotic rootless water attribute. Option 2. Conquer the Qinglong gang and be rewarded with 1000 general points. Option 3. Leave the Qinglong gang and be rewarded with the perverted magician's staff. The system beeps. Unlike before, there were 3 options this time. But Lin Shu remained expressionless, as if he couldn't hear. From the moment he saw the video of his little sister being abused, he made a decision in his heart and waved his right hand violently. Whoosh, whoosh. In an instant, thousands of blue water arrows containing the power of cold attributes shot out overwhelmingly. Plop, plop. Flowers of bright red blood appeared, and corpses with their foreheads, hearts, and legs penetrated continued to fall. Become a 4th level warrior with a spiritual power value of 300 points. In addition, after water breathing broke through to the 2nd level, his attribute power became obviously more powerful. "Ah, I've been hit by an arrow, please save me." What? A water arrow condensed with water can compare to a sharp arrow made of steel. There were constant screams and panic. A warrior was hit by an arrow in the chest, but managed to survive with his extraordinary spiritual power and talent. Before he could take any chances, an extremely cold force poured into his body and he instantly turned into an ice sculpture. How is that possible? What kind of monster is he? What a fool! Who will say that water is the weakest talent in the natural system in the future? I will tear up his stinking mouth. This kid's methods are too weird. Run away quickly and report to gang leader Lu and the other guardians. Many people felt as if they had seen a ghost and were so frightened that their eyes were about to burst and they ran away. But there are still some people who are unwilling and dissatisfied, with a look of madness on their faces. Only the Qinglong gang has always bullied others, no one can bully our Qinglong gang. The rain of arrows has been exhausted. This is the perfect time to kill him. HMPH. Let him see how powerful our Tian triplets are today. 2 men and 1 woman came forward. Their appearance is 90% similar, but the woman's figure is smaller. Boom. The 3 make seals and spiritual power rises. Sun-burning fire. Bone-cutting wind. Thunder in the night. Wind, fire and thunder trio, go to hell. A tornado formed by wind, fire and thunder rushed towards Lin Shu. Facing this seemingly violent and overwhelming attack, Lin Shu had no intention of evading it. He only saw his left hand slowly raised. There was a bang. Sparks were flying, winds were raging, and thunder and lightning were violent. Some of the people affected were instantly reduced to ashes. Hoo-hoo. The Tian triplets gasped for air and looked pale and weak. Because the combined attack just now had exhausted all the spiritual energy in their bodies. The kid should be dead, right? No matter how evil he is, he will never survive the killing skills of the 3 of us brothers and sisters. As for the Black Dragon Protector, as he is an enhancement type and has cultivated an indestructible body, he should not be fatal yet. As soon as they finished speaking, a calm voice came from the bombing center. Does the so-called trio of wind, fire and thunder only have this much power? Bang! The remaining power dispersed, revealing a cyan water wall condensed by soft attributes. What? The mere power of water can resist our special attack that combines the 3 natural powers of wind, fire and thunder. This is impossible. Blue water, cyan water, this guy is an unusual person, we can't deal with him, retreat quickly. Seeing that Lin Shu was safe and sound, the three siblings were so frightened that their souls trembled and their hearts almost jumped out of their chests. Since their practice, they have never seen such a terrifying and weird person. Poof. However, the three of them had only walked a few meters when they were pierced through the heart by three blue spears and turned into ice sculptures. The signs of life disappeared rapidly, but his pupils were still wide open, as if he couldn't believe that he was dead like this. Don't kill me, I don't know anything. Sir, have mercy on me. We are not from the Qinglong gang. We were captured here by them. It has been several days. I want to go home. Seeing Lin Shu's gaze, some women hiding in the corner were trembling with pride and fear written on their faces. Lin Shu frowned, and the three Magatama Sharingan flashed across. After receiving the confirmation, he shouted in a deep voice, anyone who is not from the Qinglong gang should get out immediately. Those women who were ostentatious and with red lips and heavy makeup ran away as if they had been granted amnesty. Thank you, sir, for saving my life. A girl who was kidnapped excitedly kowtowed 3 times. Ever since she was captured here a few nights ago, it was as if she had fallen into an abyss, and her life was worse than death. There were several times when she wanted to end her life. But when she thought of her elderly parents at home, she hesitated again, dreaming of escaping one day. Unexpectedly, this wish came true. You can't be that Lin Shu, who are you? The Black Dragon Protector screamed, his heart shrouded in boundless fear. It is simply appalling that a little kid who has only been awakened for a few days has such strength and means. Buzz. Lin Shu didn't talk nonsense to him, and directly opened the 3 Magatama Sharingan to penetrate into his soul and read the memories in it. Suddenly his body trembled and veins popped out on his forehead. The 3 Magatama in his eyes are constantly gathering and expanding, as if they are about to evolve into a kaleidoscope. In the other party's memory, he not only saw the scene of his little sister Yi Shui being beaten and tortured in all kinds of ways. I finally learned the real reason why Yi Ma's legs were disabled. That day, Yi Ma just took one more look at the little gang leader on the street, and she was killed. If someone hadn't drawn a sword to save her when she saw an injustice, she would have become the prey of a snake-lion beast with 6 eyes. Although he escaped with his life, he was still bitten by the beast's snake hair. The toxic invasion caused the muscles, blood vessels, meridians, and cells in her legs to continue to collapse. No wonder Yi Ma and Xiao Mei were so frightened and uneasy when they saw the young gang leader and the snake-lion 6-eyed beast when they were in Zhexiang Tower. That is the mark of fear left on the soul. You deserve to die. Everyone in the Qinglong gang deserves to die. He could no longer suppress the anger and murderous intent in his heart, and completely exploded. Ding! It is detected that the host's anger and hatred value reaches 100%. The 3 Magatama Sharingan in the right eye evolved into Uchiha Itachi's Mangekyo Sharingan, gaining the ability of Amaterasu. As the system beeped, the 3 Magatama Sharingan in Lin Shu's left eye moved and disappeared. The 3 Magatama in the right eye instantly connected and evolved into the kaleidoscope of the Itachi god. At the same time, his mental power, that is, soul power, was growing crazily. 39, 40, 100, 110. But in an instant, Lin Shu's soul power increased crazily to 300 points. If other people knew this, they would be extremely shocked. You must know that the growth of soul power is more than 10 times more difficult than spiritual power. Unless you are a warrior who has awakened a special system. Stop, let go of the Black Dragon Protector. Lin Shu, you are so brave. Do you really think that our Qinglong gang has no one? Arrogant people will be killed without mercy. The alerted senior officials of the Qinglong gang roared out of the inner hall, mixed with a strong killing intent. The leader was none other than Lu Qijiao, the leader of the gang. Looking at all the scenes in front of him, he felt both horrified and extremely angry. A little kid who was a little bigger actually tortured and killed hundreds of members of his Qinglong gang, and still took advantage of the Black Dragon Guardian, one of the 7 guardians. This is no longer a provocation. But it is a great shame. If this matter spreads out, how can the Qinglong gang gain a foothold in Zhongling City? An invisible anger burst out from him. Roar, 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 roar. There were frightening beast roars one after another. his momentum was violent, and his face was twisted ferociously. A shocking scene occurred. The majestic spiritual power condensed into 4 green dragons, roaring with teeth and claws. Immediately afterwards, the 4 dragons merged into his body. Click, click. His clothes exploded and his body expanded rapidly. Compared with before, they are completely different. Daddy, please break his hands and feet. I'm going to use him to feed the little lion snake. A milky voice sounded like a child's voice, but it sounded extremely vicious. It was the young gang leader who, although he was 5 or 6 years old, was extremely arrogant and cruel. Under him is a snake lion 6-eyed beast that is 4 meters high and 7 meters long, with 6 eyes, spikes on its back, and snake hair dancing wildly. However, the moment it saw Lin Shu, its pupils opened in fear, it cowered, squatting on the ground and shivering. The leader's Qinglong nether body technique has been cultivated to the 4th level. There are very few people in Zhongling who can match it. A thin man with a white tiger head tattoo on his chest said with an evil smile. One of the 7 protectors, the White Tiger Protector, ranks 5th in strength. This guy is a bit weird, don't underestimate the enemy. A squinting old woman in gray robes said hoarsely. The seemingly old and frail body exudes an extremely cold aura, like a poisonous snake hiding in the dark night forest. She is the head of the 7 protectors, the Life Protector. Anyone targeted by her will not survive the next day, which makes people frightened. There were 3 figures not far from her. One person seemed to have not sobered up, but still looked drunk. A person is suspended in the air like a ghost, with long hair covering his face. He can't see the man or woman clearly, but there are hundreds of daggers floating next to him. If you observe carefully, you will find that each dagger is wrapped with a small thread that is difficult to see with the naked eye. It is not condensed by spiritual power, but spiritual power. Obviously this person is an extremely rare special type of mental controller. There is one more person. He seemed to be only 11 or 12 years old, but his body gave off a 5th level aura. The limbs, head, and body can split apart, making it look extremely weird. Jia, hey who, a piece of trash, fell into the hands of a little kid. It simply damages the reputation of our 7 guardians. The person who laughed sarcastically was an old man with a malignant tumor on his head. The magic mantis protector ranked 2nd. There was a huge, 2-headed mantis beast with a terrifying face, sharp fangs, and huge body suspended in the air behind him. Hiss. The aura permeated by this mantis has reached the level of a 5th level monster. Yes, this little old man with a cancerous tumor is a talented warrior of the true beast type. The ferocious-looking giant mantis with 2 heads is his gifted spiritual beast, the male and female demon mantis. According to legend, every transformation and evolution of this male and female demon mantis must be completed by the female eating the male's head. Soon after, a male mantis head will grow next to the female mantis head, just like the reincarnation of fate. Its feet are holding a body stained with blood. Who is it if it's not Yi Shui? Its wings flap and its mouth grinds together, making a harsh and creepy sound. The sharp sickle strokes, producing dazzling sparks. It seems that in the next second, Yi Shui's body will be cut into pieces. If you want to keep your sister alive, then capture her if you can. Jia, the mantis protector said with a sinister smile in his eyes, and the huge tumor on his head made his fur tingle. Brother, run away quickly, leave me alone. The weak Yi Shui slowly opened her eyes, crying and wailing. This morning she went to school as usual, but was suddenly attacked on the way. When she woke up, she had been kidnapped to the Qinglong gang. Is it true that in this world the weak can only be bullied by others? Seeing Lin Shu's familiar face, she felt excited and frightened at the same time. What was exciting was that I could see my brother one last time before he died. What is frightening is that as a burden, she will kill the person in front of her. Lin Shu's body trembled when he heard his little sister's call. He was originally furious, but now he calmed down strangely, and his heartbeat became slower and smaller. Regarding his reaction, Lu Qijiao, the 7 great protectors, and a large number of Qinglong gang disciples were all very confused. Could it be that Lin Shu was frightened out of his wits? Since you want to save him so much, then I'll give him back to you. At this moment, Lin Shu said expressionlessly. With a wave of his right hand, the frightened black dragon protector flew backwards. The white tiger protector reacted very quickly, and he quickly caught it. Amaterasu. Lin Shu uttered 2 words, and the vision in his right eye narrowed and focused on the black dragon protector. With a pop, a palm-sized black flame appeared out of thin air, burning his face. Ah, it hurts, help me. The lost black dragon guardian suddenly woke up and let out a miserable cry. The black flames spread rapidly throughout his body. Even his white tiger protector was affected by the black flames, screaming in terror. Don't come here, this black flame is weird and can quickly burn anything it touches. Plop. As expected of a person with combat experience, he decisively cut off his right arm. Bake, 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 bake. In the eyes of everyone with shock and disbelief, the entire body of the black dragon protector and the right arm of the white tiger protector were instantly swallowed up by black flames and burned to ashes. It seems slow, but in fact everything happens at that moment. At this moment, everyone looked panicked, their bodies were shaking, and their faces were pale. They had a bad feeling that the Qinglong gang had provoked a demon. The white tiger protector, who had lost his arm and saved a small life, was still frightened at this moment, and an inexplicable chill rose up in his vertebrae. If he had hesitated just now, he would have been burned to ashes like the black dragon protector. Witnessing the power of Amaterasu black flame with his own eyes, Lu Qijiao, the leader of the gang, couldn't help but take a breath of air and took a step back subconsciously. Suddenly, his expression suddenly changed as if he noticed something, and his heart jumped suddenly. Ah, what about Mr. Lin? He disappeared out of thin air. How is this possible? Everyone exclaimed with a look of disbelief on their faces. Bang! A black light flashed, and green blood scattered from midair. Bang! As a 5th-level monster, the male and female demon mantises' heads were cut off directly, and the body fell to the ground, stained with green blood. The Shenong shovel in Lin Shu's right hand was illuminated by the light, and the blade flashed with a sharp cold light. He held his little sister covered in scars with his left hand. Brother, run away, leave me alone. Yi Shui reached out and touched his face. Feeling the real warmth, her heart collapsed and she cried loudly. She swore in her mind, if I can survive this time, I must work hard to become a strong person. She wants to protect her relatives and friends around her, and no longer wants to be a burden to her brother. It's okay, brother is here, you can sleep peacefully. Lin Shu smiled softly and gently tapped her forehead. His voice seemed to have magic power, and Yi Shui fell asleep instantly. Her face no longer looked frightened and uneasy. Look, he's there. Oh my god, he actually killed the male and female demon mantises who were protecting the law. Impossible, it is a 5th-level spiritual beast. Someone exclaimed, looking as if he had seen a ghost. Puff! The gifted spirit beast was killed, and the demon mantis protector spurted blood instantly, his eyes filled with horror. The beast type is divided into the real beast type and the transformed beast type. As for the true beast type talented warriors, their power comes from the awakened talented spiritual beasts. Without the male and female demon mantis, he is like a semi-waste person. Kill him. No matter how many ways you have, you will never leave the Qinglong gang alive today. Roar, roar. Everyone was furious and used their strongest means to attack Lin Shu. Especially Lu Qijiao. Following his fierce punch, 4 green dragons roared out like thunder. There was a bang, and the wall was exploded, causing a collapse. Where are the people? What's going on? That boy Lin disappeared again. The lingering power dissipated but there was no trace of Lin Shu, and everyone was shocked. Does this kid have the ability to stabilize his body? It's not about stabilizing the body, but about the teleportation ability of the space system. If this kid doesn't die today, he will be a nightmare for our Qinglong gang one day. He will never be able to run far with a burden. Even if he digs 3 feet into the ground, my gang leader will kill him. Lu Qijiao roared, the anger and hatred in his heart reaching a terrifying level. Phew, phew, he rushed out fiercely with a group of protectors and gang members. However, when everyone came outside, they were completely dumbfounded. The huge Qinglong gang was surrounded by a huge water ball, like a water barrier. Oh my god, what the hell happened? Can there be a water-type martial king who can control such a huge water flow? What do you mean, that boy named Lin Shu is a water-type martial king? No, this is absolutely impossible, some people screamed in disbelief. As we all know, Lin Shu only awakened his talent a few days ago. The strength and methods shown just now are shocking enough. And what a powerful existence King Wu is. In the huge Zhongling city, only the city lord has stepped into this realm. Look up there seems to be someone there. Suddenly, a boy exclaimed. Lin Shu was seen standing above the flood, his eyes were cold, like a killer from hell. He made a seal with his right hand, and the green and blue mysterious mark on his forehead was extremely bright. What does he want to do? Even though Lu Qijiao had broken through the 6th level of Martial Master realm, he was still enveloped by a strong sense of uneasiness at this moment. His instinct told him that he had to stop the young man in front of him at all costs. Otherwise, the entire Qinglong gang will fall into a situation of eternal disaster. Boom! His feet broke the ground, and he rose into the air. All the power gathered on his right fist and blasted out with heavy and violent force. At the same time, Lin Shu, who was standing above the flood, had a cold light flashing in his eyes, water escape, blue and blue dragon's strangulation. Roar, roar. As he finished speaking, the water as mighty as 10,000 waves boiled completely, and a huge whirlpool emerged from the center. 100-foot blue dragon contains the power of softness. 100-foot blue dragon contains the power of cold. The two looked up to the sky and roared, as if they were venting the anger in Lin Shu's heart, or announcing their birth to the world. Immediately afterwards, it circled the entire Qinglong gang with the momentum of a dragon traveling in the 9 heavens. Qinglong and Lan chased each other, causing a huge storm. Run away. Manager Zhang on the crow's back saw this scene and shouted anxiously to the reporters, anchors, and citizens below who were watching the excitement. Boom, boom. Water can carry and capsize a boat, and it is one of the natural disasters in nature. Under the strangling power of Beizong Qinglong and Beizong Blue Dragon, the huge Qinglong gang continued to collapse, as if the world was about to be destroyed. When the 2 giant water dragons exploded, the raging flood rolled in all directions, completely submerging the entire Qinglong gang. No, the Qinglong gang was destroyed. Run away. The crowd, who looked like they were watching a show, saw the flood roaring toward them after destroying the Qinglong gang. They were so frightened that they screamed and ran away. Some people who had no time to escape were instantly swallowed up by the floodwaters from behind. When the flood calmed down, everyone looked shocked. The Qinglong gang, one of the 5 gangs in Gangniang and the overlord of the Dongcheng gang, is now in ruins. It must be the Qinglong gang who has done many evil things and angered the river god. The sky has eyes. Those who have committed serious crimes deserve to die. Seeing the evil force Qinglong gang being destroyed, some people cried with joy, while others cursed with great pleasure. Apparently, what the Qinglong gang has done in the past has long made ordinary people and citizens feel sad. When Guanxi Zhang, Mr. Xiao and others on the back of the huge crow heard these words, they fell silent. Gangs do evil, and families use their power to bully others. Not to mention Zhongling, they can be seen everywhere in the entire Hua kingdom. How could they not want to suppress the limelight of these forces, or uproot them from their roots? The ideal is very rich, but the reality is very skinny. Take Zhongling City as an example. Every 10 years, countless beasts attack the Black Demon Forest dozens of kilometers away. If the city cannot be defended, there will be rivers of blood and millions of corpses strewn across the land. In order to compete with the beast tide, Tianling Pavilion and the city guard army need the power of these gangs and families. What's more, there is a force behind almost all powerful warriors. If the interests of these people are affected, a huge storm will surely arise in the entire country of China, and even the foundation of the country will be shaken. It is also because of this that Tianling Pavilion and the city lord's mansion turn a blind eye to evil forces such as the Qinglong gang. However, once the beast tide comes in the Black Demon Forest, these people will be sent to the front line to fight against the demon beasts. Having single-handedly destroyed the Qinglong gang, is Lin Shu really a human being? Looking at the dilapidated Qinglong gang, Mr. Xiao's scalp went numb. This child is like a god. Manager Zhang also took a breath of air. Ding! The mission of destroying the Qinglong gang is completed, and the host obtains a blind box that awakens the chaotic rootless water attribute. Do you want to open it now? The system sound rang. Open it, Lin Shu said decisively. Congratulations to the host for awakening the power of the drought attribute of chaotic rootless water. Drought attribute. Although Lin Shu considered himself smart, he was a little confused after hearing the word, drought. To clear up his doubts, he immediately clicked on it to view the details. Drought attribute. It can rob all living things and all the water in the body of matter, thereby causing collapse effects. If the host has enough energy, it can cause a city to collapse. Hiss. After seeing the annotation, there was an uproar in his heart, and then he was ecstatic. It seems complicated, but it's actually easy to understand. Just like adding some mud to a cup of pure water, it will turn into a cup of thin mud. But if it is left in the sun to dry out the water contained in it, it will fall apart if you pinch it lightly. Ah, my precious son, please wake up. Lin Shang, you destroyed our Qinglong gang and even killed my son. This gang leader will fight you until death. Suddenly, a roar filled with overwhelming hatred came from a ruin. There was an explosion and rubble flew away, revealing Lu Qijiao, the leader of the Lu gang, covered in blood and with a ferocious face. In his arms lay his lifeless son. His life was extremely prosperous, he married 7 wives and gave birth to 13 daughters. But he only has such a son, and he is the kind of son who comes from old age. From childhood to adulthood, she has always been held and pampered by him as the palm of his hand. Whatever his son wants, he will give it to him. But now he is dying with eyes closed. Pong! He jumped into the air holding his son's cold body, and rushed towards Lin Shu with a crazy expression. The remaining spiritual power in the body exploded, and the body continued to expand like a balloon, and his eyes revealed a sense of death. This guy wants to commit suicide, stop him quickly. Manager Zhang on the huge crow not far away was very worried when he saw it. As expected of an enhancement-type warrior, you can still survive such an attack from me, but you are not qualified to die with me. Lin Shu said with cold eyes. Call out. The space was distorted, and he had suddenly appeared in front of Lu Qijiao like a strange creature, tapping his forehead lightly. Buzz. Gray light flashes at the fingertips, condensing a newly born water. Chaos Rootless water. Drought attribute. The gray water kept surging, like a gray raincoat wrapping Lu Qijiao's body that swelled and leaked a violent aura. Seeing that Lin Shu did not run away, but instead took the initiative to come to the door, Lu Qijiao fell into ecstasy. But when he was enveloped by the chaotic rootless water with drought attributes, his eyes widened in fear. It is a deep disbelief and a fear that sinks deep into the soul. Because he found that the blood and water in his body were mysteriously disappearing. What is your talent? Before he finished speaking, his body instantly became stiff, like a squatting stone statue, or a corpse that had been dried in a place exposed to the sun and rain. With a click, Lu Qijiao's body was full of cracks and kept collapsing. Until it turns into a piece of dust and flies away with the wind, completely disappearing between heaven and earth. Kill a 6th level martial lord in the early stage and gain 4,888 points. Only 4,888 points. The previous red-robed envoy was also in the early stage of the 6th level martial master, but he had 8,888 points. It seems that people from the Divine Lotus sect are far more powerful than others in the same realm, Lin Shu thought to himself. A gang leader and a 6th level martial master were wiped out in ashes. Guanxi Zhang, Mr. Xiao, Heya and others who witnessed this scene were completely shocked. As the waves in their hearts surged, a chill that penetrated into their bones arose. Petrification talent. What did Mr. Lin just do? Mr. Xiao was dumbfounded, as if he suspected that he was dreaming. Guanxi Zhang came to his senses with a jolt, his heart was filled with excitement, his face was rosy and he looked as if he was 20 years younger. Gray water. You can't be wrong. This guy's chaotic rootless water has awakened new attribute power. Petrification. No, it looks similar, but there is a difference between the two. It's more like a shattering ability of destruction. Manager Zhang roared with excitement in his heart, looking at Lin Shu with fiery eyes. It's like a crazy man who has been in prison for 20 years and suddenly sees a beautiful little girl. The strong desire to take it for himself made Xiao Laoqing on the side shudder involuntarily. In a ward, Yi Shui was sleeping on the bed. A soft-bodied, cute-looking creature floats above her head. 6th level spiritual beast, Shi Liu's mother. This is a creature that evolved from ocean jellyfish after the spiritual energy was revived. It has both real and virtual bodies. Although it can float in the air, its speed is extremely slow and its combat power is only 1. Once it senses danger, it will weaken its body and avoid enemy attacks. In addition to this, it also has an innate ability, which is healing. As its tentacles danced, wisps of unique spiritual light poured into Yi Shui's body, and the wounds on his body began to slowly heal. The owner of Shi Liu Mu was the old man with a goatee, white beard and glasses. He is not a wood-type warrior, but a true beast-type warrior. But with Shi Liu's healing ability, he became the chief physician of Tianling Pavilion in Zhongling. Buzz. The aura flickered, and Shi Liu's mother disappeared. Old man Shan, how is my sister's injury? Lin Shu asked urgently. If other people dared to call him that, he would definitely give a few big mouths. But from what the young man in front of him said, old man Shan felt particularly cordial. Young Master Lin, don't worry, your sister only suffered some flesh and skin injuries, not serious injuries to her muscles and bones. After some treatment with my gifted spirit beast, she has almost recovered. She can fully recover as long as she rests for 2 or 3 days. He stroked his goat's mustache and smiled, with a hint of pride in his expression. Hearing this, Lin Shu was relieved. On the hospital bed, Yi Shui slowly opened his eyes. The moment she saw Lin Shu, she rushed over and hugged him tightly. Brother, is it really you? You are not dead, and I am also alive. I am not dreaming. She burst into tears, tears streaming down her face, and her hands hugged each other harder and harder. Because she was afraid that if she let go, her brother would disappear and the dream would wake up. Silly girl, how could your brother die if he is so powerful, so smart and capable? Lin Shu smiled softly and flicked her forehead out of habit. Ah, it hurts. Brother, you are so annoying. Yi Shui howled in pain, feeling excited inside. If it hurts, it means she is not dreaming. That's right, good people don't live long, and disasters live for thousands of years. Not even God would dare to stop bad guys like you, brother. She said with a playful smile, but there was a touch of guilt and self-blame deep in her pupils. Thank you, seniors, for saving the lives of our 2 brothers and sisters. She bowed at 90 degrees to Guanxi Zhang, Mr. Xiao, and He Ya. No, I didn't do anything. Yi Yetu, you misunderstood. The person who saved you is not us, but your brother. You don't know yet. Your brother has destroyed the entire Qinglong gang. Manager Zhang and Mr. Xiao quickly helped her up. What, my brother, senior, you must be joking. This is absolutely impossible. Hearing the news that the Qinglong gang was destroyed, Yi Shui shook his head anxiously and couldn't believe it, because it was too unbelievable. Seeing the serious expressions of everyone, and recalling the previous scene where Lin Shu killed the male and female demon mantis in the Qinglong gang and saved her, she felt a thunderbolt in her heart. Is it true that the person on the internet who awakened the SSS-level natural water talent in Yukai's senior year is you? She asked tentatively. Lin Shu did not hide it, his body shook, and his spiritual power burst out like spring water. Buzz. When the spiritual power turns into water, the mind moves. Transparent water without attributes condenses into swords, axes, knives, tripods, dragons, lions and other objects. Hiss. Seeing this, Yi Shui was dumbfounded. It wasn't until a while that her shocked and excited heart slowly calmed down. Suddenly she seemed to think of something and her expression became complicated, and she hesitated to speak. What's wrong? Lin Shu frowned. Brother, Mom was bullied. It was me who was useless. Not only did I fail to protect her, but I also became a burden to you. Yi Shui lowered his head sadly and said with red eyes. Yi Ma was bullied. Lin Shu's face darkened and he asked coldly, who? Thinking of how powerful her brother was now, Yi Shui gritted her teeth and said bitterly, it was my aunt, my cousin, and the elder Fang who not only smashed our yard, but also wanted to burn it. Click. A pure murderous intention broke out. The window glass shattered, and the entire ward seemed to be trapped in a cold prison, extremely cold. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.